All right, morning everyone. Good morning everyone. Lots to go over this morning. If you didn't know, it's FOMC day. All right, so Fed rate decision coming this afternoon, 97% chance no rate cut. But what you need to be aware of is the tone. All right, do they change tone? Do they start talking about more rate cuts than they had previously anticipated? Very, very possible that they might be doing that today. If they start talking about that, market might like that news. Maybe we go risk on. If they're unwilling to pivot on anything, then it's possible that you continue to see like the market not be too sure what it wants to do. But right now we are absolutely in breakout. Remember, every day this week, since Friday last week actually, we've been long. All right, so since Friday last week, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and we're through all these parts of liquidity that we were talking about yesterday to the top side of the Bollinger Band, filling in the gap on the QQQ. We can go over that shortly. Only thing left right now is for a drive higher. We're actually a lot closer to that than it looks based on the cash ETFs, which is what is going to become important. So what do we need? Well, we don't really want to be buying up here, do we? All right, we don't want to be buying up here. Remember, we're buyers Friday, we're buyers Monday, we're buyers Tuesday. We don't want to buy up here. The safest place to buy is very simply going to be a retest of this sort of area down here where we've built out liquidity this week. All right, if this is your breakout, we need a pullback to hold to go higher. Now, there's no saying that the pullback happens right here today. All right, it is possible if they're net long, unless they take profits and allow this to happen, it's possible we go on some horrible squeeze. The Bollinger Band's not giving us much room, but we just need to be aware. If it's going to go without us, it goes without us. We don't fight the tape. We have to play momentum and location. Right now, momentum's fantastic. Location's not so good. If we move over to the hourlies, you can see right in here, overnight we got that extension through. Remember the key levels yesterday, I think it was 26,045. All right, so once we came into the new session, where are we now? Down here. Thank you. Once we came into that new session, overnight we built liquidity and then we went for that breakout through all that liquidity, driving higher. So watching for a retest of this kind of area here. All right, previous day value area high, previous day point of control. It's also where we had all those stops built out on the daily. Remember the daily we just went over, all that liquidity was basically all in here. All right, all those stops. Think about the daily wicks that we had up here like this. Okay, can we come back and retest that? Do we hold it for a buy? Very much like yesterday. If you're interested in the sell, might not be too late, but we can have a look. There might be that counter trend move down to here. All right, and then they have to make a new high. Failure to make a new high is will they start to get stuck. If we start to lose this, right, there is a rotation that can happen in here, but if we start to lose this, then this becomes possible today, tomorrow, Friday. All right, so if we start to lose these areas, if this becomes a failed breakout of lots of buyers chasing here and we lose this area, that rotation down to here can still happen. That's still a very normal pullback and healthy pullback, so just be aware of that. Okay, as we move into the 5 minute, you can see above what we had. Big shove up early in the session. Big shove up here early in the session. We go sideways, we get another shove up. Here's your retest of this core level here, failing to make a new high, back to here. This is the current range. All right, if we fail underneath Asia, then probably that rotation back down to previous day value area high and point of control is possible. We've built out lots of liquidity. Remember this, all of this from 4 o'clock, and then we had earnings. All of this is very thin and light on volume. All right, so it won't take a lot to reprice that if it really wants to in a New York session. I've got to get a bit of a move on here, lots to go through. Okay, let's just have a look and pull you out so you can see the ES, exactly the same. We're at all-time highs on the ES. There you go. New all-time highs were made. All that squeeze through, ducking down back inside currently, see if it can hold against previous pivots. Very much the same thing. What's really interesting is this though, all right, the Qs. This is what you want to keep an eye on. All right, so we can set a price alert right here for all-time high on the QQQ. You can see we're not quite there yet. So we filled this gap. Remember yesterday I said the efficient market will fill this gap on QQQ. Well, guess where we got stuck? All right, so anyone that joined me on stream yesterday, what did we say? The 32s, right? See this gap here on the ETFs? We talked about this gap being filled. All right, the obligation's been done, literally to the tick. It's been done in pre-market. Look at that, 32s, pretty much to the tick. So if you joined me yesterday, you understand why I said this will probably get filled in. That is an efficient market. There is no obligation for it to go higher now. If this is going to be a failed breakout, a gap fill, and come inside, it's possible. I'm not saying it's probable. I'm saying it's possible. So you need to understand location to buy here is not good because we've just filled in a big low-hanging fruit on a daily time frame. All right, so worth understanding this on the cues of where we are. We've filled this in. All right, we're opening up here. It will need to now hold this gap. It needs to hold this gap for continuation. If it cannot hold this gap, it doesn't have to be today, then it's going to be a problem. So we're looking for pullbacks to hold, really, unless you want to fade it and be the counter trend play for the pullback, also possible. Spiders, same thing, breaking out all-time highs. You can see they are above all-time highs. So Qs have got a little catch-up to do, but not too far away. And they look pretty good. All right, Dixie continuing to get absolutely schmacked. All right, big drive down lower. Geez, it's not a good time to hold the dollar right now, honestly. Not a good look. VIX is starting to find a bit of a bid. All right, you've seen it's starting to try and find a bit of a bid here. All right, so this is the same pivot we're going to be looking at as yesterday. Can it bid and hold over sort of these 1625s? If so, we're looking for this move up here. I don't know why it keeps not putting my drawings on from another chart, but this move here on the VIX will allow weakness. Any dunk under here, obviously, then we're going to see some strength come back into the charts. Let's have a look at the mag. All right, Apple pulling back into that area. All right, remember it's got earnings tomorrow. So big drive up. We're coming right back into this key level here. If we let go of that, then the next one's all the way down here. These can still be back tests. It's a bit like QQQ. This can still be back tests down to here if they're taking profit. And this is a run up into earnings if they're starting to lock in some profit before it. Same kind of story here on Amazon. Big drive up. All right, huge breakout. It can afford a pullback to hold, can afford to come all the way back down here. But it's gapping up again this morning. Goog gapping up again. Same kind of story. Has a bit more structure here on Goog to hold, and otherwise failures are back down into here. So we just see if it can hold this 3 drives. We talk about 3 drives. All right, 1, 2, 3. It needs to hold this kind of area or fade and then reclaim it. Getting stuck under here will allow this move into here. This is very thin, but still holding okay for now. Tech has been strong again. Meta gapping up again. See if it can hold its base. Starting to base out versus this old pivot now. So can it get going? Microsoft looks good. That's very, very strong. Again, thin under here. This is the problem with all these stocks at the moment. If you're swing long from Monday or Friday, you're comfortable, right? You can sit in it. You don't really want to be a new money long here. You don't really want to start a new long position here. You're out of position now if you do that. Nvidia, great reclaim of the 90s, super strong. Let's just zoom that out for a minute. I need to remember where we're at on that. All right, so it's looking to get above 93s and 96s, really. 93s, 96 is a big level. You can see both sides of this on the way up. That's your level. Reclaim that, we'll leave sellers trapped, and then we will go for new all-time highs if we can reclaim that. Gapping up again on Nvidia, it's a strong gap. And Tesla starting to try and find a bid down here. All right, so it's been washing down the last few days in a range. There you go, washing down in the range, but coming to back test this level where we first found bids. All right, coming back to it. Can we hold it and start getting going? Equally weighted mag. Wakey, wakey. There we go. Equally weighted mag. Gapping up. We do look a bit steep here. All right, this is my worry right now, my concern in this market. Here's the base, the failure to break, but this is a big drive. We can actually, we could do with this setting up here, unless they're going to do it up here. We could do with something like this, which would work nicely in the queues. Let's have a look at some broader names. Netflix starting to find a bid, which is good. I've still just got a starter position in that, not proved anything yet. I want to get through this week in earnings. AMD starting to try and claw back. So if we can get a new base here on AMD, it's the same story for chips. If it can base, we can make new all-time highs. And AVGO starting to get going, starting a little bit better. I just want to have a look at this 10-year and 30-year. Still basing. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. You going to show me the 30 yet? Okay. All right, don't have huge expectations this morning, please, folks. All right. People have been risk on, like I said, since last Friday. The positioning started last Friday, and we've got FOMC coming this morning. So no, don't be like aggressively risk on this morning when we've got lots of stuff coming. Okay, lots of people saying they've got issues on Ninja and Tradeify. Let me have a look. 2050s. Yes, I had the same. No data. Okay, well, not a lot we can do then, is there? Not a lot we can do. Tradeify down for some reason, is it? Yeah, Ninjas are also locked up. All right, folks, so we'll just chart on here for those of you who are not trading with Tradeify on Ninja. Hopefully they get it sorted. Not seeing a notification. Let's have a look. Can't believe this stuff, can you? So just be careful. Don't be forcing in. If there's no data, we can't do anything. Okay, Tradeify down. There we go. All right, folks. So we'll just chart on here. I can't execute trades without that. So we will chart on here together, and we just have to see what we can get. All right, so you'd be watching these pivots here. Down here is the real interest level. All right, so we have the Globex pivot right here. But other than that, you're looking for, there's your range. It's quite a big range as well. In fact, we can, let's have a look at what we did overnight on the new print. I very rarely do this, but because the range is so big, it will be worth it. Okay, that's your cluster. So this level, this guy here is key. Start to lose this edge. There is a bit of a dip that might hold in here, 218s. I'd say this guy's pivotal. We'll leave that on just for the start so we can see the overnight range, because the gap's quite big from previous days. Why is previous day point of control showing above? Should be 91s. No, you should be down here, mate. There you go. All right, yeah, so we've got like a 200-point gap from the previous day value to overnight value. All right, so this is a huge imbalance here. All right, so if they let go of value and they stay heavy, this rotation here is very possible. Well, don't worry, guys. If it's a outage everywhere, it won't. They will refund you. They will have to refund you, because if it's a Tradeify issue, they can't have you in a prop and not do anything. So you don't stress about it. They will refund you any problems, because if it's not a singular issue, which it clearly isn't, everyone's experiencing it. They will have no choice but to give everyone their money back. So don't stress. Don't stress. What's the plan today? I would say potentially being a buyer down here, potentially fading this here to TP1, TP2, or this here down here. I don't really want to be a buyer up here, and then down here I'd like to be a buyer. But obviously right now my plan is to do nothing, because I don't have any data for Ninja, unfortunately. Same as everyone else. Yeah, nothing. I got nada. I got nothing. Can't do anything. So I'll just read out and call you what I can see. Don't worry. I know you're calling Tradeify, but you got to understand they'll be under the cosh from everyone. If you're trading prop, they will fix it. All right, you'll get your money back. It's not worth stressing about. Don't get yourself wound up about it. Honestly, I'm talking from experience here. Okay, so current overnight value is right here. This is your key level. If they hold this, they're going to look for the rotation all the way, if they can get back through 62s, all the way up to these 300s. And if they fade 300s, that's your overnight point of control. And then we can see what we get develop after that. Let's put this on here. There we go. No, that's not what I want. yeah, lower your expectations today, folks, and FOMC day after such a big run up as well. Lower those expectations. Smash that like button for me nice and early. Would like to do some giveaways on stream as always. ES looking strong. I'd say look at the SPY. Pre-market came down, held previous day high, held that pivot. Looks very strong, the SPY does right now. They probably want the 700s on the SPY. All right, so relative weakness in NQ today versus SPY in the morning open. Not in the gap up, but just in the morning open. Could be a dud day anyway. Could be very easily be a dud day. We will see, or dud morning, I should say. They're trying to find that bid to VWAP. If they get acceptance through VWAP, they will look for all the way up here. Right, that's what they will attempt to do, is to get up to there for the retest. There's quite a few nodes on the way up, but they will attempt, if it's a big if they can't break down underneath overnight value, right, and they hold current POC, they will try and force this rotation. They will need acceptance through here. If they lose this, then Globex and down to here is possible. All right, so you're at a battleground right now, so you need to wait to find if we're going to have acceptance or not of holding this gap. And if so, this is the target, which they're trying to do right now. All right, so they can't get under here. That morning dip so far is held. Fail break underneath value, and they're going to try and come up for this. There you go, starting to get going. So if you are able to get long in that, this is now your target up into 310s. It's a shame. It's quite a nice setup, but what can you do when the network and everything's down? Morning, Scott. So if they hold VWAP now, 310s is where they're looking for. If they let go of point of control and let go of here, then the rotation all the way 91s and then down here is possible. Both are possible. For me personally, I wouldn't like to be net long today unless we come down into these areas. For me personally, we're a little bit frothy up here, especially after we talked about those Qs closing that gap. And we've left that gap open actually because we closed yesterday. The high of yesterday was basically right into those 32s. All right, and then we pull back and then we've gapped up above it. So we have a gap back down to that old gap fill level. It's just nasty. Nasty. Yeah, I can't do anything here, folks. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I won't be touching mobile app either. Okay, if they're back down to value, if they lose this, then we'll come right back down for this Globex level. So if they stay heavy under here, all right, we've built up a node here. There's a node down into this. There's a little node here. If we lose 20s, you're into Globex. And if you lose that, you're right down into here. This is a very possible trade today. That would be your counter trend long pullback. Think about what we've been doing. Think about this. Just pulling back to here, right? This fade here is possible that they scoop it back up. I would be interested in being a buyer down there if we come there. That's very much like yesterday. I don't know that they're going to have the juice to do it, but if they did, that's an area I'd be interested in being a buyer in today. No, yeah, so anyone joining late, Tradeify is down, guys. So I've got no data on Ninja, no data on Tradeify. I'm completely unable to trade today. I'm not even stressed about it. Today is not a day that I'd be excited to trade about. If we think about what we've had this week, why I don't really care too much, right? Let's just look at this 5-minute chart, right? Let's think about what we've had this week. We have been long on dips all week long, right? From the Sunday open was the flush down into the key level to hold. All right, Monday offered the long opportunity back up. Then we got long again Tuesday for this opportunity back up. And then overnight, they have ripped it higher, all right, because we're in breakout. If we zoom out, if you just look down here on this chart, I can just do it here. We're in breakout, aren't we? These were the targets, right? Remember this yesterday and the last few days, these were the targets. We're in breakout. Do I want to buy up here? No. All right, remember when we look at the charts, we're thinking, what is the location? What is the momentum? Momentum is fantastic. Where's the best location? It's going to be a pullback, isn't it? Pullback into here is going to be the best location to be buying, or where we're buying early week. 1, 2, 3. Those 3 buy opportunities we had, right? Unfortunately, we're day traders, not swing traders, right? So I don't want to be adding net long up here. Very, very dangerous. I want to be adding net long down here on a pullback. So today might be the counter trend move, or this morning, down into some of these regions. I don't know how far they come down. Do they get to the 26, 150, 120s? Do they come below? I don't know. But it's why I'm not too bothered, because I'm not missing a pro trend trade. Pro trend trade will be if we come in here and we do something like that, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So it's not a huge miss today. If the networks were down and we were missing yesterday, I'd be very upset, right? If we were going into breakout with a squeeze on, I'd be very upset. So if you are net short in this now, though, underneath here, if you're net short versus 40s now, you'll be looking, remember I said 20s is your first target, just based on the node. Then you're looking for this level here into 192s. Let me just measure this out. Yeah, where we are here, and then, yeah, under 192s. We get very thin under 192s all the way down into these areas down here where I'd be interested in being long around here. Right, so I would say TP1 we've already hit right now. If I move you to higher time frame, you will see why. Right, we have this node here that we developed in Asia. There you go. All right, so that should TP1. If you get acceptance under that, look how thin we get underneath 192s. Look at this volume, non-existent volume. All right, so unless they do one of these, if they close that gap, we're going to come all the way down. All right, so 192 is big level. All right, either they will fake it and bid it back up, or you will get a complete snap from 192s, probably all the way back down to 26,100. There's a 100-point snap under 92s if they let it go. A closed trade event relaunched with an update and it's working. Oh, that's good. Well, I've tried a few times on Ninja Trader, got nothing. I can try again. So back test this level. Sellers need to sell versus New York and point of control. And if they don't, we'll go back into range. Like I said, I'm not too worried about missing today. If I'm going to miss a day, this is the day to miss. You might all say, well, there's going to be loads of opportunities later in FOMC. I wouldn't be surprised if FOMC was a bit of a dud. Earnings are what's going to really matter. See if this reboots if we get any data. I have got some data. Is this live though? 40. Yes. But frozen again. So it's showing me what happened, but I've got no chart moving. Yeah, it's not worth the risk right now until it's smooth. Yeah, I can see, so I've got historical prints, but I've not got anything moving. My charts are just not moving. Wish they were, so I could help a little bit more. Try that one more time, maybe. Okay, reclaim value. So same story again. If they hold this, so we hit that first node. If they hold this now, if they are able to hold this and get acceptance over here, back to this. All right, this is the rotation. This is why I'm like less fussed. We need to build out liquidity one way or another. So give a fade into that first level, TP1 hit, and they bid it straight back up. We should talk about the mag. Tesla 1.11% up, Nvidia 1.73% up, Microsoft 0.14% down, Meta 0.05% up, Google 0.25% up, Amazon 0.37% up, Apple 0.89%. And now Ninja won't even open for me. Fun and games. Fun and games. VIX stuck in a range as well. So it keeps finding bids down into those 1637s. That pivot really is down towards 25s if it wants to come down there. Same one yesterday, right? We couldn't get above it yesterday. It had numerous attempts. Same pivot. No data this time. Logged out, logged back in. Dreadful. You've never seen candlesticks like that? Like what? Yeah. We know, Mr. Slim. Yeah, they're all down. We're just testing to see if they're coming back on. Some people saying they're able to trade. I'm not able to trade. I can't. I've got nothing. I got nada. So my footprint's stuck. So I can't really help too much. Okay, squeeze is on now. Back to 310s then. If they're going to test overnight point of control. Right, so they dipped and held the Asia session, that node that we talked about, into the 220s. And they held 220s, and now they're trying to get acceptance back up. So if we just think about this zoomed out, right, they held this 220, this here is what we were looking at. That's why it was TP1 if you took the short. No acceptance, reclaim, and they're now trying to get acceptance over current point of control back to overnight point of control. And this is the danger, right? This is the danger to go higher. I would rather they built this out down here, right? I would rather they offered this. This is a much safer trade where I'm buying closer towards fair value rather than deep into premium. We are deep into premium right now. We're right at that top daily Bollinger Band as well. We are running out of room to do anything. How does one get these indicators? You can do the course. It's on the website, flowzonetrader.com. And a version of these indicators comes free with the course, or you can upgrade to the Pro, which is what you see on my chart right here. This, right, the Pro system. You can get that on my website as well, flowzonetrader.com. All right, so the question is, can they get up into these 310s? V-shaped recovery. No dip back down to confirm it's going to hold 60s yet. So, you'd want to really see something like this if it's really going to get going. You have to be careful. You're still inside the opening range for the first 15 minutes. We're just building that liquidity out. Please explain TP1. What the downside TP1 or the upside? The downside TP1 was this. See this node, right? Overnight value. We drew it out because it's a big gap up. Here is a big node. All right, so that's where we expect price to come to. We go to this node, we find a bid there. That's your TP1 on the short. It rebids, it holds, right? If we're going to find acceptance higher, we're going to come up for this now, right? Which is why I keep saying, if you're long, your first TP is 310. Not too far away. Where do we get to there? Coming up towards the 300s. Unrecognizable trade event. Yeah, I've literally given up. I'm not even looking at it. It's completely pointless at this point. All right, so you're coming towards this TP. Let's have a look at liquidity on the book. Yeah, you've got some guys here. 300, 310s, 325s, 350s, all possible. So once you get acceptance through this is a big level to take some profit. If you did get long, this is a big level to be taking some profit off. Once we get through that, you're looking for 325s, which is overnight value area high. And then 350s, which is the overnight high. Right, those are the levels to the upside. Hopefully that helps, folks. I'm sorry I'm not trading live with you today. There is nothing I can do about it. What is the range volume on the left? On the left, it's the overnight. It's the volume from overnight. I very rarely put that on, but we had a very big gap up today, so it became important to know where people were trading, where they were positioned overnight. SPX, yeah, 7,002 right now. I see it. I see it. SPY trying to break out to get up towards that 700 probably. So the best I can do is call the trades for you today and try and teach you. I will do my best to make sure you guys who can trade make some money today, even without me. So I'll sit here even without me. I'll try my best to help you. Right, so developing a little bit of a node here now. So your bulls will want to hold this here into 80s. Right, this right here. Edge of current value. Bulls will want dips to hold versus that. If they lose that, they're going to come straight back down to the midpoint, which will not be ideal. So if bulls are going to complete the rotation, they would want this to hold and to rip this, right? Or like something like this. Otherwise, they're coming down into this point of control, which will not be very nice. It's probably near the midpoint if you think of 1R, 1R. It's not a very nice session. So back to mid, back to point of control. Same thing can work here. The moment we haven't finished a rotation either side, so we haven't completed this rotation to back test. Oh gosh, to back test, and we haven't completed this rotation to back test this. So we're just building out, which is what we've pretty much done all night long, right? We're building out versus here. So I'm saying if you're going to miss a day's trading, today's not a bad day to miss, folks. Tradeify users can actually trade on TradingView. How? If there's no data, how can they do that? There's no data, I don't think. I don't think they'd be able to execute. The point of control from all-time high is 299. Is that relevant? From the week of all-time high or from all-time high to current price? I mean, it's all relevant. Yes, absolutely, Indy. Absolutely. It's all relevant. If you pay for data on TradingView, well, I pay for data on TradingView, but I still don't understand how you could do that, because you would need to execute via logging into Tradeify, and Tradeify data is down, and it will be pulling its own data. I don't know. You guys do what you want. I would not be touching it. If my broker's down, I don't trade. If a data provider's down, I don't trade. Right? This is a job. This isn't a joke. Don't be like doing something and hoping. Right? Just don't do it. It's seriously, it's not worth it. It's one day of your whole trading career. It's just not worth it. In my opinion, you guys do what you want. In my opinion, I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be playing, American football without putting my pads on. It's the same thing. All right, we need everything working. All right, VIX starting to spike here, folks. Just be careful. It's starting to break out here on VIX. So next pivot for VIX is going to be up towards 1670s. So it's getting going. So it might add weakness into this market if it can really drive. If it finds acceptance through that, then maybe. But again, here's your orb. We're just boxed in. Almost completed the rotation. Didn't quite make it. We're just boxed in right now, doing nothing. It's very possible that we do this for a long time, unless something shifts before we get to FOMC. Why do my candles look different? They're based on momentum. At the moment, this is not a momentum setup. All right, everything's flat. So you got prints above and prints below. Right. What these are great for are when we're in breakout trends, like here. Right. And all the time we're blue. White is an inside bar, so all the time we're blue or white. We're just building upside. It's telling you not to fade it, right? So it's built to stop you fading it. Again, the day before, you don't try and short when we're just constantly green, right? But when we go red, right, there's chances of fades, right? So they're just based on the momentum. basically to stop you picking tops and bottoms. Effectively, everything that I built in the system is basically to stop you trying to pick a top and bottom on a trend day. Okay, my Ninja Trader has just woken up. Do we have gaps in it? 51, 50, 42. Okay, so I do have a gap in it. So let me just save this, close it down, try opening back up again. Trader 8's back. There you go. You guys are saying the same. Yeah, I just saw data come back on, but I need no gaps in my chart. I need to see what's happened. It's the same level up here, and the rotation to 310 is where they're trying to get to still. Market trying to find a bid. Apple the only one red now. The Tesla now 1.14% up, Nvidia 1.71, Microsoft 0.20, Meta 0.43, Google's just gone green 0.04, Amazon 0.78% up, the only one red, Apple 0.66% down, is trying to claw back. All right. Do we have data? I've just logged back in. We do. Okay, give this a minute or two just to make sure it's steady, and then we will see what we get. Thanks, Miguel. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Stream's growing fast. It's because people are starting to realize that you actually learn on this stream. I actually teach. Okay, same pivot here as before. Can they find acceptance through this? If so, 310s is the target, and then acceptance over that. You're looking for 25s and 50s, basically. The squeeze is currently on. So they're trying to get back towards that opening range high. Yeah, smash that like button for me, folks. We will do some giveaways on stream, as always. Still in rotation here. Just keep comparing NT to TradingView for a bit, just to make sure. We are starting to get some cleaner data, which is good. All right, ES stuck at VWAP. Can't find that bid over VWAP quite yet. SPY, the same kind of story. Just stuck in a range. Q, same kind of story. What is that level there on Qs? 7s. We did have an all-time high on Q pre-market and faded back from it. All right. What futures am I trading? NQ, the Nasdaq. Actually learn more on my first 2 live sessions, Monday, Tuesday, then 1 month of research on YouTube. Well, that's good. That's good to know. Is a short bias valid since we're near all-time highs? I wouldn't have a short bias because we're near all-time highs. I don't think that's a reasonable explanation, you know, to have a short bias. You need a short bias when there are a sufficient amount of bulls trapped, or when you're looking for that high time frame pullback, which could happen today. Like we said, we are, you know, I am bullish on this chart, on this market right now, but today is not a good location to be buying in. Remember, we've been buying Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Every session I've been buying, I ignored all the shorts. Every session I told you why. Right now we're still in that breakout, but it gets more and more risky the higher and higher we go, because we're not pulling back. We need to be buying around the 26,100, somewhere around there. Even the 26,000 is a reasonable area to buy off. Up here, we're about 300 points too high right now. Go charting for order flow charts. What's Go charting? Is that a software? Is that who emailed me the other week? Pricing, USA. I don't see why you need it. 30 a month on sale. I don't see why you need it. You could just pay a one-time fee for NinjaTrader, or invest in your account on NinjaTrader, or pay for the Pro on TradingView. So I'm not familiar with it, but it doesn't. I don't see why it would be needed. Why are we too high right now? Just because of the move that we've done here. All right, hourly chart. In fact, let's go daily to start with, so you can see this. All right, daily chart. We've broken out from here, right? We haven't pulled back to make sure that this base is firm. All right, once we pull back and hold this, this will be a breakout, retest, then we can think about the drive. Remember, this week we were buying Friday last week, Monday this week, Monday New York Open, Tuesday on the dip. Right, think about where we were buying this week. We were buying from the 500s, looking for the low-hanging fruit up to here. We've had a 600-point move that we wanted this week. We are now also at the top Bollinger Band, all right? Chances of going beyond 2 sigma is very, very small. Look what happens. Top Bollinger Band, top Bollinger Band, top Bollinger Band, bottom Bollinger Band back to me, and bottom Bollinger Band, bottom Bollinger Band, bottom Bollinger Band. So what we actually need to do, maybe we have a black swan kind of day where we close outside it, but what we need to do is this and the 5-day. Anyone who's been here this week will know I've been talking about this, which will look something like this, right? Something like this. See this between the 5-day? When we go into strong trends, you'll see it again, right? We build out liquidity. Like this is a prime example. Think about this here. Pivot, breakout, retest, right? Breakout, retest, breakout, retest. 5-day, top bowl, 20-day trend. Okay, we need to have room to do it. Now, that's not to say we can't squeeze higher today and never do the retest. It's absolutely possible. Right? I want you to understand the difference. It's absolutely possible. If this thing wants to do this today, it will do it. It will do what it wants. But our job is to understand risk. I don't want to buy here hoping we'll get up here. What I want to do is wait for the market to come down here, in here, trap a load of sellers, then offer me the buy to complete that rotation higher, right? That's what I want to do. That's how I can manage my risk, right? Because that's our job, right? So this up here, very risky trade. This down here, much better. We've got a base, all right? So anyone who didn't stop out, anyone who was a belligerent short and didn't stop out, but when we return in, you best believe they will stop out and they will become market buyers, and that can happen. If we fail this, all right, if we fail to hold this and we do this, we want to be very careful, right? If this is a look above and fail with the QQQs and ES taking out all-time highs, look above and fail, we want to be very careful for this move here, all right? So this is why I'm waiting. I don't mind missing, a little bit of action every now and again, even if we look at the hourlies. Where's my hourlies? Right, if we think about this week, this was the Sunday open. All right, think about this from Sunday open. Right, we are almost 4% up and 1,000 points up, and this trend is, I would say, pretty bloody steep. All right, that's pretty steep, isn't it? All right, this is not pulled back. Right, a healthy trend will offer this move here, which might come today. Would offer this move here back into the developing profile, and then we can move this somewhere like this, build out some liquidity, reclaim this, and that offers a nice squeeze to all-time highs at that point. Right, so that's why. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Always ask yourself when you come into the chart, what's the location? What's the momentum? What am I looking for? Where do I want to enter? Where is an interesting location to enter? Yeah, I'm having the same, by the way, folks. My NinjaTrader is now down again. All right, so I can show you. So I will not be trading this. I've made the decision. That's why I said I'm going to wait to see if it matches up. You would have heard me say that like 5 minutes ago. It is just not worth it. Now, I am not going to blow all my work because people can't sort out their data centers properly or whatever it is. So we can just keep, those of you trading, you guys can trade. I'll keep calling levels and I'll keep teaching you what I'm looking at. You can try and understand. Yes, 2 sigma is the 2 standard deviations. So a standard Bollinger Band on a daily. If you understand how Bollinger Bands work, your middle line, a lot of people don't understand this, your middle line, your mean on a Bollinger Band is your 20-day SMA, right? 2 standard deviations above that is your top Bollinger Band. 2 standard deviations below that is your bottom Bollinger Band. Why do I use a 5-day? How many trading days are there in a week? 5. How many trading days are there in a month? 20. So I'm looking for what's my weekly bias versus my monthly bias on a rolling timescale. That's why I use the 5 and the 20. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. They stop you buying in bad locations. It's the best way of me putting it. If we're up at the top Bollinger Band, you really need to ask yourself, should I be buying here? Answer is probably no. Hey Alex, I'm new here. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Is the Bollinger Band equivalent to the standard deviation? Yes, only versus the 20-day. Only, not like a rolling regression trend or standard deviation that way, which is how I used to trade. That was the first way I traded. And those who have been with me since day dot will know that. It's the first way I used to trade back in 2019 and beyond. But yeah, not based on like a regression channel, standard deviation, but yes, based on your 20-day SMA. No discount on the course right now. I'm sorry, my friend. 1,000 people watching, only 300 likes. Yeah, that's just not good enough. Come on, folks. Smash that like button. We will be giving away Apex accounts on here today for sure. I was in here the other day asking about funded accounts, but I recently seen you had Apex coupon and I copped some evals and appreciate you have been teaching me so much. You're welcome. Yes, for me personally, I only look at Bollinger Bands on the daily. I'm not interested in them on lower time frame charts. That is not to say you can't use them, right? Lots of people use them on like 15 minutes or hourly charts. For me, I don't use them. I like them on the daily. I like using them on the daily. That's how I get my bias on the daily of like where I think what we need to do and what's possible. I'm not Eba's brother. He is a bit of a legend though. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How do you frame your trades? Top-down analysis. So daily down into like hourlies into 5 and 1 minutes. And all I'm looking at is what kind of condition. Remember, the market's only ever doing 2 things, right? We're either building liquidity or we're searching for liquidity. We're either in fair value or we're searching for new fair value. So we're either auctioning up or we're in a range, right? So if we think about the conditions of the market, right, the market, a normal market will look something like this. Maybe we build some value out, we search higher, we have one more search higher, and then they go, no, there's no value there. Maybe we build out, we search higher, and they go, no. Okay, that is a pretty standard looking market, all right? So we need to understand what condition we're in. If we are in a breakout at this point, all right, then I'll be looking for longs. The pro trend at this point is up, right? This is how I decide what I'm looking at. This is up, right? And if we're moving point of control and value higher, that's confirming that I'm trying to trade upside. What else could we think about? Like a P-shaped profile. If we have a P-shaped profile in this day, and it gives me the opportunity to get long at like a value area low on this pullback in here, right? If this is a daily chart, then lower time frame, what am I looking for? I'm going to look for something that looks a little something like this, all right? Some kind of trap down here to get long, and then I'm TP1 and see how far we can get up, right? And then we do the same thing the next day. We're going to assume pullbacks hold. And when we fail to break out and we do this, we are now in a range. So in a range, I'm trading the edges. So I'm fading this back inside. I'm buying dips back inside. Or if I'm really honest with myself, I'm leaving that alone, right? Because I hate ranges. So, or I'm at least using small size. And then once we break out of the range and we hold, then I'm looking for upside until we come to targets. Now, let's say this is a top Bollinger Band. This is very similar to what we've had recently, all right? We've broken out of a range this week. We've come up to the top Bollinger Band. It might be that we need to retest this level. Now, what I'd be hoping for this week is actually the continuation higher. But if we don't get that, this collapse is possible. So it's all about understanding what is the higher time frame doing, all right? What are we doing higher time frame? And then moving down. That's why it's important you guys join me from 9:15 Eastern time, because every day you will notice my process is exactly the same every day. We start on the daily and we move down the time frames. We look if value's been moved up, what type of shape we have. Is there a big gap? Are we likely to see a fill on that gap? Are we holding value? The source boss, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you've been joining me with me this week. You mustn't, what you've done, all right, so source boss says, I've nearly blown my funded on this bullish move up. I keep thinking it's going to go back down, but it hasn't. What you've done is what a lot of people will do, is they just go, it's too expensive, it shouldn't do this, it's got to come down, it's got to do it doesn't have to do a thing, right? It doesn't have to do a thing. It will come down when too many bulls are caught, and not before that. And right now, all that we've had is shorts caught in it every single day, and we're now breaking out on the daily, right? So unless we start collapsing, there's no reason. So there might be a counter trend. This would be the counter trend. If we let go of this, there might be this move to here or here today, right? But if we think about, if we zoom out, right, that's just a pullback, right? You will only want to play that pullback when all these bulls are caught. So if you keep guessing tops, right, and hoping, right, all you're getting is these micro pullbacks and breakout, micro pullbacks and breakout. If you're gonna fade, the best fades come when bulls are stuck and we start going through key levels, right, and not before then. So even those who joined me yesterday, I gave you one short yesterday, which I even didn't take myself, which was right here, and you can see it hit the target. Right, so yesterday I gave you, we were long yesterday, and we were long on this move here. We played this long to here, and you had the chance to play this long to here, and this was the short into lunch, just before lunch, wasn't it? Yep, short here down to this grey box. That was the opportunity. You could have actually had it again, right? Because this was the first time we had bulls trapped. You do not want to get short before you have a significant amount of volume trapped above you, that is, overhead. We are just doing a dance here this morning. Nothing to do here, folks. How much does Bookmap come into my trading? Yeah, it does, especially when we're coming into a level I'm interested in. All right, so definitely if I'm looking for trap participants, Bookmap and Footprint, so between that and here, but I actually have this on Ninja, but obviously it's not working right now. Between these two things, right, quite a lot. Quite a lot. So say that last push, you can starting to see buyers are starting to get caught here. Buyers are starting to get caught here. So if we start closing under this, I think you're going to see weakness for an imbalance fill down into this. And if we get under that, this is your target. And if we get under that, gap fill is possible. But you can see buyers are starting to get caught over that New York Open in the last, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. So if they keep rejecting that, there's potential for a wash here. So you just have to see if we can get acceptance underneath this little ledge here at 37s. And if we can, you're probably going to get a revisit of low of day. What was the auction like at low of day? Yeah, I think there's a chance to revisit that. Here we go. So it's doing it already. There you go. So we just saw those buyers caught. So there you go. That's Bookmap and Footprint. So it all depends now. Can we get acceptance under 37s? This edge right here. Sellers need to find acceptance under that. If they find this move here, so you've got buyers stuck up here. If you get this, this is possible. If you get that, then the next orange line is possible. Remember, this is a huge level. Under here, we are very, very, very thin. Imagine this. We've got like a bump here, and then it's just like this down to here. There's nothing until we get down into these. Looks good. This short looks like it's going to play out for you guys if you took it. You got some covering here on Bookmap into the 12s and the 200s. Let's see if there's a guy down at 92s or not. Yes, there is. Yeah, right here. So yeah, they want it down into there. They want to see if they can protect that shelf. No, I don't use range bars. No, no, no. Why Nasdaq over SPY? Just because I like the volatility. I got used to how it moves. Can make really good money in it once you understand it. Here you go. So here comes the lower day test. I wish I'd better availability to look at this more detail with you with my footprint. Try one more time for Ninja. Okay, so lower day test coming up. So I'd be like taking a partial into that, and then see if you get into 92s, and then if you get acceptance under 92s, then you can probably see a wash in this back down to those levels that we said we could be interested in buying off today. What are the volume on side candles called? It's footprint. Footprint. There's a video on my YouTube for it. Let me show you how to do it. So ES under previous day high, SPY under previous day high. They have gap fill potential if they start staying heavy here. They're into key levels, so it would be a partial kind of place right now. And then if you get under here, there's potential for the wash. But ES already coming under previous day high. Yeah, VIX doing that breakout that we talked about. Remember we said trade into, once it started to break through 50s and basing above those 25s, that moves into 70s. We're there now. So next stop for VIX is probably the 83s. If we break through 83s, it's 95s. If we break through 95s, it's 1712s. Yeah, I've still got nothing on Intraday, folks. I can't do anything here. I'm really sorry. I'm trying my best to help you. In fact, maybe I move this to footprint over here, and then I can see a bit more for you guys. Right, into that buy side imbalance at this lower day. I still think you're going to get a lower day here. I think you're going to get an auction lower. Looks good. It's really good. Those buyers getting stuck through the imbalance. There's your lower day. There you go. So that was the key, was right here. Once we saw those buyers get stuck, someone asked, do I use Bookmap or anything like that? Once we saw the buyers get stuck here, that was the sign. And there's your low of day. So now the next target, so that's TP1 hit. TP2 is here. All right, if you get that, that will be TP2. Otherwise, this is the same level that becomes important. All right, point of control on the day where those buyers got stuck. Remember where those buyers got stuck. That was a good auction at the low. Sellers coming in down there. So sellers will kind of want to defend these 50s. If they can't defend 50s, there's a squeeze back out to the upside as we are in a range. Doing my best to teach you today, folks. There's nothing else I can do. Claudio's asking, do I mind sharing my footprint candle settings for TradingView? I don't, but it's on YouTube. There's a free video. I put it out like 2 weeks ago. Saved me going through it all right now. So if you just go on my YouTube, I'll try and find it for you. In fact, give me a second. Footprint chart. I give you my settings in there. Shareable data. So you're now looking for 92s if they can find acceptance here. Lower. There you go, my friend. So that last link I sent. What's my bias for today? I'm probably expecting the pullback leg. It just depends where they stop it. All right. So do they defend Globex? Or do they come down in here? And then do we bid off this into FOMC? So that's what I'd like to see for today, is that kind of mood there. If we fail this, all right, if we fail previous day value area high, obviously there's a rotation down into the lows. If we fail that, we have to watch the current week developing value. Underneath 88s, or definitely underneath, well, yeah, definitely underneath previous day value area low, I'd be very, very concerned, because from that point, if we start finding acceptance underneath 26,044, then I think there's very probable that we move down to 25,900. Right, but I would be looking to bid either around this orange line or even more preferable down here. So if they can trap sellers here, that rotation, but ideally here is better. So on a lower time frame, I'd be looking for some kind of nonsense down into this, and then base, and then maybe a wick, and this move here. I think is possible. At the moment, they're protecting Globex. You'll remember it's FOMC day. So anything they do now is just building liquidity for later. Anything they do now is just building liquidity. Yeah, I've tried connecting. It opens and then it just freezes. Yeah, I think that's first time on stream. 1,000 viewers. Thanks, guys. It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you. Smash that like button for me, guys. We're only over half of you not hit the like button. Nice. So lots of you getting that short. Nice work. Joe, it's definitely not like GameStop. That they should have gone to jail for that. That was dreadful what happened there. It worked well for me. I did take that was one of the biggest trades of my career. I got short the morning after that. Why am I able to pass evals heavily but never get payout when funded? Probably psychology by the looks of it. 2 ticks, Fernando. Yeah, they're tick based. Take care, Zart. We're growing, yeah, we are growing. All right, so come back to test that 50. Remember, we just talked about the 50. This is the level sellers must defend. Right, they must defend 50, and they must now get follow through. If they fail to get follow through now, they would get caught. Why must they defend 50? Well, there's a shelf there. It's point of control, but I'm going to get rid of this now from here as well. We don't need that anymore. But it's also where the buyers got stuck. Remember here, we talked about where did the buyers get stuck? Here, the buyers got stuck. Look at all this aggressive buying, aggressive buying, aggressive buying, aggressive buying. Did price move higher? No. So all the buyers in here are currently caught. So we came up. This gave them a chance to stop out break even, right? Sellers now need continuation lower underneath this. If they don't get that continuation, it will be a pullback which fails to move lower with sellers caught at these lows. You can see the sellers are caught right now at 215. So sellers must get under that. Otherwise, this is your rotation between here. This 30 points. Acceptance over this will be a potential squeeze, certainly over 65s. Hopefully that makes sense. You can play both sides of the tape today if you're quick enough on the trigger. Nice, lots of you making some good money already. Trade of 8 seems okay now. What are we trading at? 30s, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. See, I keep getting gaps though. There are gaps in my chart. Let me try one more time on Intraday. I'm not convinced, guys. Try one more time. Still inside that Globex range. Orange to orange. Let's see if this opens up this time. It's a good start. It's a good start. Can it open the footprint? There we go. Right, I'll give this a minute or two just to see if it's able to stay open. So far looks good though. Disconnect sim and then live will work. Okay, I'll try. It seems to be working now. I just want to give it a minute or two to make sure it's smooth. It seems to be doing a bit better now. All right, ES back inside previous day's high. Still no gap fill on ES. SPY the same, back inside previous day's high, but it's got VWAP and New York Open above it. Q's the same. VIX just came up to that pivot. 17's failed in front of 17 so far. A big block there. Love the long hair. Thanks. It's actually short. I actually just had it cut. It was very long. Okay, so back to these 50s. And, you know, if sellers can't defend this, remember sellers got caught from here. From what, 16s? Yeah, sellers are caught from 16s here. And buyers are caught in here. This is the rotation between these, and acceptance might allow that squeeze, especially if we can get through this 63 shelf. And under here, this is the target. Right now, there isn't anything that I really want to take. Market's asleep, isn't it? Market's asleep. I tell you what, we'd give it another 8 more minutes and we'd do a giveaway early today. But you guys have got to get me to 1,000 of you watching. Let's get to 700 likes and we'll do a giveaway. So there's 481 likes. Let's get another couple hundred in there. And we'll do an Apex giveaway. Maybe some other stuff. Breezy, no, wasn't able to trade today, not even because of the range, because Tradeify and NinjaTrader or Tradeify data has been down. It looks like it's only just coming back now. I don't know, other people saying they're still having problems with it. There you go. Mine at the moment looks okay. I'm a bit dubious about taking a trade, I'll be honest, even if there was a setup. Okay, big buy has just come on the book. All right, 800 lot down at 26,200. 26,200. So he's kind of said, hey, this is where I want to absorb it. Let's see if he's a spoofer if we come down to him. VIX coming back down into where we broke out from. Into these 50s again. Remember, that's a huge buy at 800 lot. That's some proper size down at 200 right now. Huge buy down at 200. We will just have to see what he's saying. Back to value area low on the day. No, I don't think Tradeify is working. Still keeps pausing versus what I'm seeing, guys. I'd be very careful. Not worth it, in my opinion. It's a leave alone day, I would say, if you're on Tradeify. Silver at lows. Did it reject those 10s I talked about yesterday? Someone asked about what the trade was yesterday for it, and I said the 10s. I think it was 10s. Was it this move? Where are we? Was it Monday? I can't remember where we were. Tuesday, yeah, it was here. So it was this play yesterday, was this fade back down. We're building out a range though. Like I said, a high time frame, silver's very bullish. All right, it can afford to come all the way back down here and be scooped back up. They can build liquidity. 1, 2, 3, drop down, pick it back up, have loads of shorts pile in, all the shorts here, bid it back up, hold this and expand. They can fucking easily do that if they want to. It would not surprise me. It's just what gold did a couple months ago. If we look at gold, same kind of story. Where's that flush on gold? Everyone thought it was over. There you go. build out of liquidity, flushed back down, held, and gone. And it's done it a few times, right? We build out bases that way. Here it was. Looks very similar. Build out liquidity, flush down, failure to break lower, gone. Right, if you compare that, it's very, 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 very possible they can do something like that if they want. Macro environment says we'll probably go higher on silver. Just might need to cool off for a minute. Very possible. Okay, still think this wants to move into that Globex at the moment. That 92 is still absolutely key. He's a spoofer down there, by the way. He spoofed that 800 lot. He's not legit. First profitable day on my eval because of you. Learning more each day. Nice. Am I from the UK or Australia? I'm from the UK, mate. Are you likely to trade following FOMC today? Well, not if we've got no data. Probably not anyway. I'm probably more interested. To be honest, I'm not even too worried about FOMC. The chances are that, 97% chance we're not going to do a rate cut. What's going to matter is the tone, right? Is he still belligerent? Or is he talking about more than 2 cuts this year? If he talks about more than 2 cuts this year, maybe the market likes it because we need to get moving. What I'm more interested in is the reaction to earnings. That's actually what I'm more interested in, because I think we have positioned early from last week into this week for the MAG, and you have Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla earnings at the bell today. So 3 of the MAG 7 today, and then you have Apple tomorrow. So I'm interested in, first of all, what the earnings look like. Then I'm interested in the forecasting, the earnings calls, and then I'm interested in what the reaction is to those. Have we priced it in already? Or is there a bigger move coming for tech? That's what I'm really interested in. Once we close this week, I think we're going to have a really good understanding of what, the next 2-3 months are going to look like. It's a big, big week right now. Still think this is the target to the 92s. The rotation is still, remember we said, where did they say the trap? 16s. Still the same level right here. So we just came right back into it. So you can see this level right here where the sellers got trapped. The rotation is from here to 50. But I think if we come under here, the 92s is the big level. Right, so we're still building out liquidity between this. Right, no acceptance above it, no acceptance below it. But I still think if this snaps, this 92 is a massive level. Because if we zoom out, I've got rid of the profile. But basically under here, there is no volume. Right, this was a straight squeeze up, so there's no volume. This was very, very thin. Do I prefer TradingView on NinjaTrader? I prefer executing on NinjaTrader, but I prefer charting on TradingView. It's much easier for me to teach you guys on TradingView, that's for sure. Sorry, trying to catch up on all these comments. Sorry. What prop firm anyone recommends for futures? I've got a video on that. Five top prop firms. All depends what your trading style is, but go and check out my video on them. But they are, simply put, Apex, Funded Next, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify, Lucid. I should say, Funded Next just launched Bolt today permanently, and it looked pretty good. Need to do a post about that. I did forget to tell you guys. I am sorry. Let me find it. So started today. It's $99 for a 50K. Profit target 3,000. Max loss limit 2,000. Daily loss limit 1,000. Is end of day drawdown. You can use 3 minis or 9 micros. 40% consistency only in the eval. No consistency in the funded stage of it. You can trade news. You need $250 profit in your current cycle, and your end of day balance must reach 52,100, and then you can pay out. And you can withdraw profits above the buffer. Minimum payout 250, max 1,200 daily. So they're going to do daily payouts. So that's pretty good. So they just launched that today. Looks good. I will do a deep dive into that later. Okay, still think they're trying to find acceptance under here. So all we've got is some sellers stuck in here. Once they get through this, right, this is where the sellers are stuck. Do it as white. Once we get through this 92 is the big level. I think you should get it. You should get it. Here we come. Looks good, folks. It looks good for it, in my opinion. My humble opinion. And they're adding liquidity down to 95s now. We've got lots of guys to fill down here. One big swipe will do it. One big swipe will do it for you. Wouldn't have minded being able to trade some of this. There we go. Here it comes. Here comes low date. And swipe down to 90s is looking very probable through here. They're trying to stack 05s. I think you're going to get this move to 92s. I think you're going to get it. And then we just see if we find acceptance under that or not. That's the next thing. Here we come. Here's IB low. Can we get acceptance under it for 92s? So if you took the short, any of these shorts, TP here, like just a partial here, but you're looking for this. Right, and under there, if we find acceptance under there, you can get a deeper move. But it's very possible that they trap at this level down here, so just be careful. Why is 192 such a big level? If you look at Globex, if you look at the volume during Globex, that was basically the shelf. Yeah. Right, if we look at Globex, Tuesday, it was Wednesday. Tuesday. Here. You bugger. Into 9:30. Make sure that's not extended. Correct. Okay. Right, you see this? Sure you guys can see this. All right, move this down a bit. All right, look at this under here. Think about this volume. All right, where do we keep finding bids? Here. Look under here, under this low. There is nothing. Look how thin that is down into this. All right, so you've got this move from 148. You've got 50 points here with nothing in. All right, we can, if we fade that, if they find acceptance, we can do this. They can also use it as a trap, which is why I think 92s is a big level. Here you come. You're coming for it now. You're coming for it now. So another trade setting up really nice. Here we go, folks. Here we go. So here's Globex. So TP2 now hit. And let's see if you find acceptance. They can trap here, but if not, there is a drift all the way down like we just talked about. So I'd be watching. There's a little bump in the road at 158. So I'll be watching 160, 140s, and then lower day, old day value. So we can put some of these in just so you can see them. These would be my next levels. All right. So if we find acceptance, remember, you should have taken a decent chunk off here. If we find acceptance, we're looking for these gray levels below. consistency is based on your profit, right? It's based on profit. Sorry, someone just asked that. What futures is this? NQ. I don't know. I've not tried it. Traded CFD props, so I couldn't tell you why. Been short since 26 250. 250. Yeah, that was the level to short. That was exactly it. So you should pay yourself into here. That's a 60-point trade. In case they use this as the trap level, remember we've talked about this. It can be the trap level. Once they come under here, you're starting to find bids like we talked about. Like I said, it finds acceptance, or they will use it for the trap because they know under here is very thin down to here. All right, so you must pay yourself into that because you do not know if it collapses or does this. So if you've got this to here, that is a good chance to pay yourself some money and then hold runners. I can't trade right now. No, sorry. Not because I don't want to. I would have loved to be in that. I can't get any data. Trader rate's down. Hey, how are you doing? Do you need some design thumbnails? I'm looking for work. I already have someone that does mine for me. Thanks, bud. Yes, actually, JJ, that happened to me during my unfortunately during that time, my personal time I had off for unforeseen circumstances. I did lose a few of those accounts. It's a shame because they'd built up some nice money in them, but I had some stuff happen which I wasn't ready for. Thanks for doing this, Alex. Trading is lonely sometimes, and it's nice to have someone to listen to. I agree. That's why we do it. That's exactly why we do it. It's not a bad. It hasn't been a bad session. If we draw out what we talked about, the only trade that I've said is valid today is this to here. Right, that's your first trade. And if the runner goes for you, you're looking for this and this, and maybe if you got very lucky down to here. But you should have taken TP into the orange line. So now you can see why the 92s are important. Why I kept saying 92s is a big level. There you go. So testing edge of value now. Do they reject this? Remember, 50s is still important. If we come back to the 50s again, I'll be very, very careful because we've been there a few times. Where am I from? I'm originally from London, but I live in Los Angeles currently. Been here 6 years. What made me say that today is sleepy trading day, meaning choppy or relatively low volume? Did I say it was sleepy? Probably just because we weren't moving. It's more that the range, if we think about that opening range and we weren't moving outside of it, right? How big is that opening range? 81 points, not very big. Initial balance, 81 points, that's not very big. All right, so sleepy because they probably need to build liquidity and everyone's waiting for later. Everyone's waiting for later. Tradeify says I have an open trade and I can't close it because data is down. Cam, I would not worry. Honestly, if you're with a prop firm and you're having that, they will reset them all. I would almost, I don't want to say guarantee it, but I would be fairly sure anyone that had issues during this time, they will have stuff reset. Do not stress about it. No, I don't think so, Evan. They don't give a fuck about retail. In fact, if anything, they want retail because they can take positions against them. That's definitely not what's happened. What's the orange line? Globex. Asia low. Asia session low and the edge of volume. I need to do a sheet here that tells you everything. What's the volume indicator? It's on the right-hand side. It's anchored volume to the New York Open. Anchored volume profile. Is there a reason that I moved to LA? Yeah, I moved with my wife. She took a job here. I heard London and LA aren't getting overrun by homeless or are. Where I live is not a problem, but certainly downtown it's pretty bad. As someone from Sweden, when's the news coming out? I assume it's FOMC. Yeah, FOMC. You'll get a 2 o'clock print, and then 2:30 he'll start talking for an hour or an hour and a half, and then you've got earnings. Remember, you have Mag 7 earnings into close. That's also a big part to play in this. I've tried it, CB. It's not working. It works and then it freezes for me. I've tried. I appreciate you looking out for me though. Mine keeps freezing. I don't know why, but maybe it keeps trying to reconnect. Which part of LA? I'm in Playa Vista, west side. If we trade at FOMC, can we start a new volume profile at that time? You could. That's not a bad idea. You could do it. What I'd be more interested in is use the current profile, and I would look at the anchored VWAPs. I would use anchored VWAPs for FOMC on the print. Okay, so still rejecting this node here, which is a good sign for you guys in short. So failure to get back up to the 50s. So we're starting to make lower highs. If we think about this, we've broken down away from this now. We've trapped buyers at 50s. We're not letting those buyers out. We're starting to see continuation. We're starting to reject this now. This is now another lower high, and 92s is coming. And the big question is, can you get down into any of these? These gray boxes are some of your cover points. It looks good. I will tell you now, it looks good. So the next target would be, oh, don't do that, would be down here if you can get it. So you should have already hit TP1. You don't want failed follow through here. You want continuation underneath. You need to get under this guy here at 92. You can see where he got stuck, right at 92, breakout seller. You get under that, we've got room. Two, three, 4 to 92s. I mean, you almost had it. Sorry, I might be a bit late on chat here, trying to catch up. It looks good, right? So the next target, I'll be looking for 60s, and then I'll be looking for 40s, and then I'll be looking for 26,120s, basically. You do not want to fake out on a reclaim. I'll tell you that much. You do not want this. But if this comes back in value, do not touch it short. If you trade back inside here, you're done, right? Don't let them trap you. You're short from here. Maybe some of you got short on this flow zone here against this node. Your TP1, you're looking for that. Do not let it reclaim this top of gray box, okay? Do not let it reclaim that. All the time you're in this and it's holding, you look good for that next target. You can really think about an IB day. Do we get IB expansion or an IB rotation? Yes, Asia low. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up with all of these comments. You called that 92 level nice. Yes. Well, you can see it's market is respecting stuff recently very well. What does your wife do you for? Do me for? I don't know. Oh, I don't know what you're asking there. I have a wife. Some amazing comments in here. I have a business. Yeah, flow zone. Weather definitely played a factor into it, into the move. Yeah. Before I started trading, what did I do for work? Well, believe it or not, I was kind of a big deal. I was a DJ and music producer. I had a very good career, very fun. Actually spent last week or early this week looking back at it 10 years ago. VIX really starting to get going now. 1680 breakout coming up on VIX. ES coming for this gap fill. SPY coming for the gap fill. So you're watching SPY into 95. ES is almost there. It's about to fill its gap. So you'd be watching the cash gap 708 on ES if you're playing that. That is a cover point for you if you are short on ES. If you're looking for continuation on SPY, you're looking for 95.50s. And the Q's got a long way to go to play catch up. But you look good so far. What's my strategy in simple terms? Make money. I'm joking. It's to try and play the pro trend where possible. To try and play the high time frame pro trend where possible. Alex, would you be able to help me out on an issue? Dashboard on Top Step shows 52,000, but my balance on my main screen shows 53,000. Would this be an issue? Yeah, I would assume. I don't know why that's happened. Yeah, I would get in touch with Top Step. I couldn't tell you why that's happened. But get in touch with their support team, and hopefully they actually answer to you, because I know they haven't been too good recently. Am I a cripple or am I blood? What are these comments, guys? She's a yoga teacher, Breezy. What was my DJ name? It was Tough Love. And then I had a solo project, which I still do now, called Adion. But Tough Love was my big project. Had a couple big hits back in the day. Video doc on my life as a DJ. I don't think you want to see images or videos of me as a messy DJ traveling the world. Here we go, folks. So you're looking for this breakdown to 160s, your next TP. Then you're looking for 140s, then all the way down here. ES has almost filled that gap. It's just a couple ticks short on that last push. It came to 709s, 709.50. It needs to trade 708.50. So it was 1 tick short. 4 ticks short, 1 point short. Here we go, folks. You're almost there. Congratulations. Any of those of you who've been able to trade this nice trade from these 50s down. So you're going to get almost 100 points here again. This is another day where I've given you a 100-point plus trade, and you can hold runners. You might well come into this. It's very possible. This is the higher time frame pullback, and then down here we might see some absorption. Do I still make music? I do. If the music business was so good to me, why did I leave it? That's quite a personal question. I don't feel like I actually have to answer that. It was very good to me. If you don't believe me, you can go and look at the billions of streams that I have and artists that I remixed. There's more to life than just money. It can also come down to lots of personal stuff. You know Tough Love? Well, yeah, then you know me. What's the name of the sell indicator I have? Do you mean these waves? These are my flow zones. It's my system. You can get it with the course, a version of it with the course, and you can upgrade to this pro version on the website as well. All the links are down below, guys. Do I like house and EDM? I don't love EDM, but house, yeah. MG Miles, I'm stuck in a short and I still can't close. Well, let's just hope it keeps fading for you all the way down here, and then it lets you close out down there. What is my entry method? What do you mean? I look for trap players. We've gone over this quite a few times today. Right, so the short today, why was it 50s? We kept calling it 50s. When we were here, I said if we leave 50s and hold against 50s, it's a short, right? Because of the trapped players up here. We've gone over this quite a few times, here, and all we are doing is rejecting the trap buyers right now. Maybe you've joined a bit later, which is fine. But yeah, we have gone over this a few times today. Do I still tour? No, that's the main reason I quit. I didn't want to tour anymore. I was done. I spent 10 years touring the world. I was done. I took every drug there is to take. I partied in every city there is to party. I had a lot of fun. I was done. I didn't want to get on another flight. I couldn't bear the thought of getting on another flight and another hotel and driving countless hours. It was enough. I had a good career, enjoyed it. Did Tyson change his name? Yeah. Well, he didn't change it. It's just that it's changed. What's his name now on here? I can't remember what it shows up as. but it's not Tyson. So this 92 is still key. Remember, if we go back inside 92s, I'd be somewhat concerned, but it's still rejecting it. You can see they're using this as a rejection point now, and they're trying to trade into this, this, and ultimately this. ES now has filled its gap, folks. So ES has now filled its gap. Cash gap on ES has been filled. It's not quite been filled on SPY yet. It's very, very close. So if you're trading the ETFs today, you're looking for a fill of 95.50 on SPY. Be taking a little profit there on your short if you're trading the ETFs today into 95.50s like we talked about. Looks good. So failure of previous day high all the way down towards 95.50. You're $1 in the money. If you're in options, you should be making good money right now. Alex, how often you meet on Discord for trading? Well, I've said I want to do one this week. Every 2 weeks I want to do like privates with people on Discord. Did I play any big festivals? I did. Yes, I played a lot. A lot of big festivals. Favorite city? I don't know. What, to travel or to DJ in or to live in? What time frame do I use? This is a 1 minute you're looking at currently. That's it. There you go. Darth Nougat. That's Tyson. That one there. All right, so ES finding a little bit of a bid off that gap fill. Still not inside its initial balance. All the time we're outside of IB on ES. Maybe we have some more downside. VIX did just spike up through that 1683. Hasn't found a bid through it yet, so it might pull back down to the 1670s here. You can just keep holding this as long as you're taking your profit. Remember, your TPs have hit TP1 here, right? TP1, TP2, and you can look for this on your runner and then all the way down here if you get very, very, very lucky. I'll give you a readout on the MAG because they are all starting to go red, all right? So the stronger one today is NVIDIA, 1.34% up. Tesla, 0.5% up. Everything else red. Microsoft, 0.25% down. Meta, 0.25% down. Google, 0.25% down. Amazon, 0.5% down. Apple, 0.90% down. So some profit taking for you guys here. Did I ever go to a club in Sheffield called Gatecrasher? I did. I went to that club. I didn't play that club. I used to play Tank in Sheffield a lot with Jamie Duggan and those boys. And I also used to play, what was the fucking massive warehouse they used to have over there? I used to do like Halloween festivals there. Huge. I used to like playing Sheffield. I used to stay in the hotel in the football ground. Yes, Tradeify's down, guys. Tradeify's down. Everyone joining late. Tradeify is down. Still listen to Radio 1. I love Jack Saunders. That's how touch I am. I don't know who Jack Saunders is, but still friends with a lot of the Radio 1 guys. Danny and Target and all that lot. How do I know 60s and 40s are next support zone? Just based on volume. By the way, I don't know, right? I don't know, but based on volume, these are target areas, right? Based on overnight volume. So based on overnight, here, we can see these nodes. Right, you see these nodes? Here and here. Right, once we get through that, this is current value area high for the developing week. Okay, and then we have previous day value area high and point of control down here. Right, so this would be a really good level to trade in. I would be interested in buying this market somewhere in here. Right, I don't know if we continue to all-time highs at that point, but this, if we come down into this, like I've talked about, if we come down into this, if they fade this into FOMC and they do some nonsense like this, right, this is a great buying opportunity to trade back up. Maybe they set that up for tomorrow. Maybe they set it up for next week. I don't know. But we talked about that pre-market, all right? This was planned out pre-market. We talked about maybe having a fade down into here today and maybe scooping it long. Obviously, not been able to do anything, but there we go. How are we doing for the likes? We're still short on the likes. We need to get those likes up. I really want to do a giveaway in the next 5 minutes. Definitely not from Turkey. I am part Lebanese though, so that's probably why you're saying that. I don't trade Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin. I will pick up IBIT, like I said yesterday. When IBIT comes into good levels at ETF, I'll pick it up. It's liquid enough to trade. The museum one in Sheffield. No, it's a bit further out. It's like a huge warehouse. It's like a very industrial space with a big car park. They do like... Jamie runs the raves there. I assume he still does them all. Let me have a look. Well, I can't help. My brain's so bad now that I can't remember stuff like that. Jamie Duggan still got him on Facebook, I'm sure. Yes, I have. Wired. No, that's his event company, isn't it? Base Fest. Was it that? Magna. That's what the venue is called. Magna. Taking me back, mate. It's a long time ago. Do I know Craig David? I actually do. Yeah, and I've remixed Craig David. I've worked with Craig David a few times. And I know the original Artful Dodger. I know all that crew, guys. I did it for a long time. Long time. And EZ, Matt Jam Lamont, I'm good friends with. Jordan saying Tradeify just blew 2 of your accounts. If they're sim funded like accounts, do not stress about it. I'm sure they will correct everything end of day. It's not even worth stressing about, honestly. What time do I trade? From 9:15, we do pre-market, 9:15 Eastern time into 9:30, then we trade all the way into lunch. We've got another hour left together. Every day, Monday to Friday. The niche crew, yes, O&J knows, yeah. That's it. That's literally it. All that, those base boy crews. Warehouse Project, yeah. I played Warehouse Project maybe four or 5 times. Normally on New Year's Eve. Normally did main room New Year's Eve. Actually, I posted it up the other day. That day I actually we did 4 or 5 shows, 5 shows on New Year's Eve. And I had to get from Tank in Sheffield to Warehouse Project in Manchester in like 40 minutes. And we flew. We absolutely flew. Had a driver. Foot down, mate. It was good fun. Just about made it on that set. I can't remember who else was there that night. Danny and Hannah, I think. You're making me go way back in my brain, guys. This is crazy. Let me see if I can find it. Might have it here somewhere. There, that was it. That was the view from my booth for Warehouse Project. I don't know if you guys can see that. Long time ago. You see that? Long time ago. That was a midnight set. Good set. Enjoyed that. Good fun. No, I don't know, Naira. I don't know. Like, I'm so out the loop, guys, with all that stuff. Right, look at that. There's your TP. So the next TP's just been hit. Grey box. Congratulations, anyone who's in this. So you're now looking for the next TP. So you're looking for a continuation now down to 140s. It's working out very, very nice. What does it actually mean to remix an artist? So what happens is all sales and all streams go towards the single. So let's say I don't know, Ed Sheeran's got a song coming out in like a month, right? So what he'll want is that song to be played on as many radio shows and in many clubs and as many festivals as possible. If his song, he's a very big artist, so he won't not necessarily always do this, but if that song has an appeal of like it's a slow jam or something and they want it in a club, then they're going to want a club DJ or a club producer to do a remix who's prevalent in the club scene, and then everyone starts playing that in the club scene, and then they want like a drum and bass mix, and they want this and this and this and this. So I was very fortunate. I was quite prolific, so I pretty much remixed, well, a lot of people, a lot of big guys, everyone from like Jamiroquai to just like everyone, literally everyone. I spent like a lot of my time doing it, and it's good fun. Jess Glynn, trying to think of the big ones we had which were hits. Megan Trainor, Chasing Status, Sigma. What else did we do? We did some like legendary old stuff as well. Clean Bandit. Fuck, I'm racking my head. Long time ago. Anyway, the reason we're talking about this is we're in this short. Well, you guys should be in this short. And you're just holding now the runner to see if we can get acceptance. All right, we're through. We've hit TP1, TP2, TP3 is this grey box, and then all the way down here if we get lucky. Did I ever find some of the music party scene soulless? I've been to Ibiza a bunch of times and some people are so fake, or a lot of people are very fake. It got worse and worse and worse. I'd imagine it's pretty poor now. I went back to Ibiza this year. I actually quite enjoyed it. But I mean, I had a residency there every year for 10 years, and I would say it definitely got worse and worse and worse. The early days were really good. But I've been going there since I was 13. I was quite genuinely going out clubbing at 13 in Ibiza to a club called El Divino, which is not there anymore. And Pacha. How does one start attempting to make beats or house music? Well, if you want to make it, you're going to have to choose. If you're on Mac, just get Logic. Lots of people now just use Ableton. They find it easier. I'm a Logic guy. That's what I use. Find a tutorial online and just start slow. Start with probably sample packs and one VST and then just start slow. What was your music promo? I've been lucky enough to work with some of the best artists all over the world for music promo. What was your promo company? Yeah, there you go. No, I knew people would take care of your losses. Favorite city to party in or to party in? God, that's hard. It probably is Ibiza, to be honest. I have some amazing memories there. Berlin as well, right up there. No, I didn't work with Prodigy. Would have loved to. They never did official remixes, I don't think. Shame about Keith. Would have loved to before he had passed. No way you made so freaking tight. I did. I did make so freaking tight, yes. Taking you back there, eh? Could one suggest a level to get short in this, or is it too late? I'd be somewhat careful now because you're coming down to target. So you would need to see a rejection here, right? IB in here, but I'd be somewhat careful. You'd need a push into here that sees significant buyer's trap to know that we're coming lower. I'd be somewhat careful. The reason I'm saying that is if you look at the divergence to ES, all right, ES has already done the move we would look for the gap fill. All right, so if we think about this, here's your gap fill. All right, so ES has just filled the gap. It's trading back at IB. All right, if ES starts putting in higher lows here and reclaiming IB, then it's going to go back up here, and that's going to be a problem. It's going to drag NQ. I would assume SPY's now filled its gap. All right, so a tick or two short. So SPY, the cash ETF, got very close to gap fill as well. Right, whereas the Qs, we're lagging behind, so we've got relative strength in the Qs because gap fill's way down here. I would be skeptical about an add on the short now. not the safest bet. It would be more about holding it unless you see a spike up, unless you see a push up here, and we see, let's say these imbalances filled in. Oh, Jesus Christ. These imbalances filled in, we see trap buyers. Then maybe you could think about it, but I'd be somewhat skeptical about trying to get an ad this late in the day. Genuine, yeah, I work with Genuine. Good old Elgin. I've got his still talk to him. He's a good dude. Shot a music video with him here in LA in 2015, I think. 2015. Who's the best DJ in your opinion? Like personal favorite? So hard, man. That's so hard. Roger Sanchez was like how I fell in love with house music, and he became one of my mentors. So for me, he's right up there. Watching this now, guys, to see if you see a spike and buyers trapped. ES starting to reclaim initial balance. So you will need to see buyers get trapped here. If they do not get trapped here, it means we're going to go right back inside and trade back up to these levels up here. So you want to be very careful. EZ, of course. There's so many. All the older guys, the legends. I don't like it now how people mix between songs in like 30 seconds. I hate all that shit. In your humble opinion, the reason price is falling is because ES hit a major resistance level and NQ following ES. Am I correct? You are not correct. You're not correct. It might be why ES is falling. NQ is falling because we're trading into thin volume. So it's not about necessarily a major resistance level, although we did hit major resistance. It's more about this, right? We've got supply and we've got buyers stuck. So we fall all the time, buyers remain stuck, all right? It's just a pullback. It is a pullback leg until proves otherwise. We've gone over this so many times. Here's the trend. Here's the pullback. It might very well continue higher. ES does not, and NQ does not follow ES and vice versa. They are different. All right. It depends what the stocks within each index are doing. Chase and Status, yeah, they are legends. So 20 years, man. This guy's doing it. I mean, I'm 40, right? I was going to watch Roger when I was 13, and he would have been going even longer than that. So he's been going 30 plus years. All those guys like Todd, Roger, Louis Vega, it's incredible. Tongi. That's awesome. That's awesome. 3 music channels at over 800 million combined views. That's awesome. What was the channel called, though? I might have missed it. I want to know if I know the channel. Unless your name's Nick, you're not selected. So I wonder who you are. Short Flight to Vegas, yeah. Is it Short Flight to Vegas? I still go to see guys quite a lot. Still remember Sister Bliss playing my record. What a feeling, yeah. Legend. Same for me, mate. Same for me. Shame about Maxi a few years ago. Love Parade, end of 90s, yeah, tune. What gap do I speak of? Previous day high? No, previous day close. Cash gap, 4 o'clock close. I always trade cash gaps. I'm always interested in cash gaps because cash is where most of the money is traded, right? So 4 o'clock cash gap is here. But again, we've closed it on ES. We have relative strength. We're holding up okay. It doesn't have to come down here. Remember this, right? Underneath this was a high volume node here. This can still be a failed auction and a reclaim and a trade upside. It doesn't have to come down here. It'd be preferable if it does because it offers a better bid up, but it doesn't have to do it. Where do I want to go long? For me, I want to go long down here. That's where I want to go long. There's not going to be a trade setting up today. It's going to have to, well, there might be this afternoon. Like, let's move you to high time frame quickly. Right, these are the areas. Look at these nodes. This, back to fair value, back to here. Somewhere in here would be lovely. It might be that it holds it and reclaims, which is fine. If it does that, we can join later on. We can join on this dip here once it's proven itself. But if we can come down here and trap into here, great. We can get long here. We can add on here, and we can get that continuation trade. If we let go of this, all right, and we stay heavy, then we will be short for that rotation down into this load here over the next few days. So we're setting up well. Look, we're extended up. We would expect a bounce at some point, but ideally we find that first bounce from here. And if they're too trapped here, then we're going to a range here for a bit, and then we look for acceptance above or below when we get there. But we've got to let it build out for a little bit. So this is why I say it wouldn't be short down here. And as you come upside now, back to these key levels. Back to these key levels. All right, let's do a giveaway. We're almost there. I would love it if you guys would just smash that like button a bit more, but let's do a giveaway. We'll do a one now, maybe one later as well towards the end of the stream. Artist name, Tough Love. What's Tough Love? Going to see Coxie in Brussels. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I am 40. Yeah, I'm 40. Are we still waiting for a long? I mean, auction here is not too bad. If you like, it's just a bit awkward. The way it's setting up better on ES. It's still a short because you're still under IB. But if you start to build out liquidity here and keep trapping shorts down here, then this can be a relief long. I would much prefer, like I've talked about, I'd be very careful about trading before FOMC. I'd much prefer the longs down here, guys. All right, this is a much better node to be trading off. But technically, if it reclaims this, there can be relief. But much better down here if possible. Much better. Okay, I haven't even done it yet. Well, everyone was getting ready for the... I didn't even get a chance to put it in. We'll do the course giveaway first, guys, because otherwise none of you will get entered now. What's just gone on here? Let me set it up. There we go. So just type course once in chat. We'll do the course first, only because you already did FCT before I got to set it up. So it's just it's the introduction course. It's not the main course. Just type it once in chat. We'll do Apex afterwards because I want you guys to actually be entered. Give you guys a minute. Right, while you do that, I'm going to get a cup of tea and I'll come right back. All right. Okay. Right, going to pull this winner for the course. It's just the introduction course, 2 hours long. Don't worry, spammers have all been pulled out. Winner in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, ZM Solutions or Zeems Solutions. Let me know you're here, Zeems. Yes, nice. Okay, Zeems, I'm going to make a note of you. It's a very beginner-friendly course, so if you already know what you're doing, you might want to give it as a gift to a friend or someone, but it's totally up to you. Making a note of your name. All you have to do, email me, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged in, please, and I will sort you out with the course. I'll sort you out with the course. When I buy Apex accounts, do I need NinjaTrader or another app to trade? No, you can trade on Tradeify. Lots of different ways to do it. Is it back up and running? Let me see if I've got data, 14s. Yeah, it is matching. Okay, that's a good start. It's a good start. All right, I want 40 more likes and we're going to do an Apex giveaway. 40 more likes, we do an Apex giveaway. It's great, it's back up and running. Thanks for letting me know, everyone. Appreciate it. I don't think it's that bad. Like, what did this offer? How many points was this? It's 75-point trade. It's not that bad. It's slow, but it's at least being respectful. And it might be, you know, if we hit final target down here, it will be a 150+ point trade. If any of you were able to get that, it is a pretty good trade. Big if, but if it does, that's what you will get. It still won't let me place or close an order, but the information is correct. Well, there you go. So still problems. Thanks for letting me know. How can we enter the giveaway? I'll tell you what to do as soon as we get 12 more likes. Yeah, I think the best options were probably on the SPY, man. You took that morning push, which got stuck into the pre-market level. If you look at that like shelf on pre-market on SPY at like 98s, 97, 98s, and then we let go previous day high at 96.50s, and you basically about to close the gap again at 95.50. So you could have got $1 to $2 there on SPY, which I don't know what the premiums were like this morning, but no, the course is like only a 2 hour long course. It's a very beginner friendly course. But I'll tell you what, if you win the course and you do the course, you do actually get like $100 off or something like that off the main one. But Discord is for the 20-hour course. I don't give that away for free. I give enough here for free as it is. Even when I'm not able to trade, I've been able to give you this. Even today when I'm not able to trade. I'm coming from Top Step to Apex. Which charting plan should I use? World chart versus rhythmic Tradeify. I would go with Tradeify. Go with Tradeify because then if you trade on Mac, you can trade on web platform. If you like using Ninja or something else, you can do that as well. I would go with Tradeify. If you trade on mobile, you also have that. Alex, could I ask you a complicated question or should I wait after the market close? Ask away. I'll do my best. Yeah. Info@flowzonetrader.com. Info@flowzonetrader.com. You re-entered sell at 192. It's a good level. Still rejecting it. It's the same level, right? It's the same level we talked about earlier. There was no reclaim of it. Didn't get a chance to look in here. Not too many bars caught. There was on this wick though, 88 to 95. That was a good wick. Okay, so into this next level, they must get through this now. Sellers will want to get through this now and then trade to 140s. All right, so sellers are in total control. So your next TP will be down here if possible. All right, so you're just managing this trade. No long trigger until you reclaim all of this. Do I use Rhythmic account? Has more or less issues than Tradeify. I haven't had an issue with Tradeify for as long as I can remember. This is the first one today, but it's obviously some global outage. What do I see the market doing for the rest of the day if you haven't recapped already? Well, ideally, my friend, ideally, we are going to see the market come into somewhere around here. And what I would ideally like to see is in here, sellers get trapped. All right, that's what I'd ideally like to see. Something like this in here, and I want them to use FOMC as a way of like trapping them and then rip it back up. That's the ideal world. If we don't do that and buyers try and come in and they get caught and we reject it, then we can play that rotation back down into here. But ideally, we want to play upside where possible. But if it needs a deeper rotation, right, if it wants to let go of you know, these 100s and 26,000, then it is welcome to come to 900. We cannot rule it out back down to 900. It will still be a breakout pullback, but it would be much stronger if we can just fade into here, trap sellers, and then bid back up. That would be the best possible scenario, in my opinion. Say theoretically you were trading with funded accounts and counter traded, so got banned, and other prop firms required the standard minimum 5 to 6 day evaluation if there was cash pool. Did I miss the first part of the question? Sorry, mate. Say theoretically you were trading with funded accounts and counter traded, so you traded like instruments against each other and got banned, and all other prop firms required the standard minimum 5 to 6 day evaluation phase if there was a crash bull run and you didn't have time to go through the week long eval phase. How would you go about theoretically using your own 10k to bypass the prop firm thing? I'm not really sure what you're asking there, mate. Are you asking how I would trade 10k cash, or what are you actually asking? Thank you. Hit my target for the week. Nice. Any trade available? I mean, the one you're in now. That's it. That's it. Until you see a pivot now, I wouldn't be entering short. Right, the move's happening. You're managing this position, and you got half an hour left till lunch. VIX wants to break 17. It does. 1698 came right up there. Next point is 1712s, right? So if it gets through here, 1712, starting to hold those 1680s very, very, very well. Reversal at 26k, there or thereabouts. We'd actually prefer it up above there, somewhere in here. 26,100, somewhere in here would be more ideal. Somewhere in here. Gap fill is here. Previous day value loads there, but somewhere in here would be ideal. If we get stuck here, I'd be very worried about that. What's the yellow line number? 26080. This one here, 2673-ish, 26073. That's the cash gap. ES, by the way, ES SPY actually just finally filled its gap. So remember, it came very, very close a few times. It just filled its cash gap, the yellow line. All right, so SPY now has done its move. It's now closed its cash gap, which is great. So the only thing left for SPY really is if it wants to stay weak in the cash market, right, it's going to have to let go of these after-hour lows and these pivots here. I'd imagine 95 is a big level, just based on gamma. I would assume they're all pinned at 95 right now. 95s and probably 92s again. Who is this guy who keeps spamming about Binance? You are getting banned, mate. Get out of it. report. Goodbye. I only know how to trade by buying 100k accounts. How would you use your own 10k and not buy accounts through prop? Oh, I see what you're saying. Just size right down, mate. Be realistic. 10k, I wouldn't even be using minis. Micros, and just build it. Build it, build it, build it, build it. It's all you need to do. It's honestly all you need to do. If you used a 10k account, right, and you used micros, let's just say you used one micro and you hit $100 a day. After 1 month, you'd be at $2,000. That's a 20% gain on your account, right? Because you only got 10k in there. It's a lot of money. You need to understand that. I wouldn't be going full send. You got to earn the right to go full send. I do not recommend a sell right now, no. Okay, let's do this. Okay, everyone. Apex, currently 90% on sale. The code to use is FZT to get you 90% off. But if you want to win a free account, just type FZT in chat right now. And we'll pick a winner at random. Just type it once. Please don't spam. Just once. Oh, sorry. Who's this? Hunter, I've just seen your email. I went to spam. So annoying. Keeps doing that. I'll reply to you here. You guys another minute or so to do that. Right, starting to see that relief. So yellow line still key level. ES starting to reclaim. I'd be out of all the shorts now as well. If we start to reclaim it up here, there's squeeze potential. So definitely no ads if you get very, very lucky. But I would not be adding up here now. We're starting to build out more volume here over and over and over again. And ES is starting to reclaim. So I'd be somewhat careful if ES starts to bid back in front of IB. We'll see it starting to get like volatility starting to move through here a little bit. Right, let's pull this winner. Make sure you guys are all happy. Linda Brown. Linda Brown. Are you here, Linda Brown? Are you here, Linda Brown? Still rejecting this. Wow, it's impressive. Maybe you get very lucky, those of you in from the 50s. You need to see follow through. There you go, Linda. Okay, same story. I've made a note of your name. If you can send me an email, please, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged in so I know it's you. And free Apex account on its way to you. So next targets for those of you holding from these 50s will be down here into 138 and then all the way down into here if you get very, very, very lucky. Did I just delete that? I need to delete that. Where's it gone? Hello, there you are. All right, this is your next target, the 40s and then the teens and then all the way down in here if you get lucky. So just manage your position. I wouldn't be adding on anymore. You're getting closer and closer. What are the indicators? These are my flow zone pros. Right. Pretty much all one indicator, that and VWAP. Post news, I'll see. I never really like trading FOMC. I like the next day, the reaction afterwards better. I still don't understand what you're saying, Matthew, but I'm asking, like, if you only knew how to trade via prop firm accounts and you got banned from one and a massive movement was happening and you didn't have time to do the 5D eval, what do you do? I don't understand that question. What is your question there? What's the actual question there? It's like cryptic. What are you asking? So if I got banned from a prop firm, okay, and there was a massive movement happening, as in there's volatility, which happens all the time, and you didn't have time to do a 5-day eval. So what you're saying is, how can I gamble big on volatility by using 10K? That's what you're actually saying, right? And I told you, trade micros and earn the right to trade more than 1 or 2 micros. Do I use TPO? Rick, yeah, I do look at it occasionally. Most of the time, I don't feel like I need to look at it. I can kind of see from my eyes how long we've spent somewhere, but I do have it on my charts when I need it. I would never advise buying a CFD account ever. What's the equivalent ticker to SPX to MNQ? I have MES1, but the candle volume footprint bars are super thick compared to MNQ1. If you're looking at volume, you just want to look at ES, right? Don't look at MES, just look at ES if you're looking at volume. Trade MES, but use the levels of ES because you want institutional volume. Previous day value area low, previous day point of control is better for a swing long. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Like, because if we come into here, right, and hold, right, if we come into here and we hold somewhere in here, right, even here, and we trap and do this, the pro trend long is all the way up and we're expecting a breakout of the high. But at the very minimum, right, even if we don't get that, we're probably going to get this trade up into here, right? So it will offer profit no matter what. We were probably looking at 100 to 200 points no matter what. And if you get lucky, then they'll let it rip. But we just have to be careful based on the dailies. Do not forget the dailies. I keep going over this. At the beginning of the show, we talked about the Bollinger Bands, like where we are on the dailies right now. All right, look at this. Long wick above the daily Bollinger Band. Surprise, surprise. Who said that? It's very unlikely we're going to get above that. All right, the statistical chances of getting above these is small. Tomorrow and the next day, once we have this doing this, sure. We would like a pullback into this, right, to be absorbed, to then go long. Maybe it has to come down into here. Like I said, it's possible it comes for the 900 check. It is possible. We cannot rule that out. It is possible we do something like this. It is also possible, we cannot rule this out, that it does that. All right. If this is all bullshit and this is a giant stop hunt and you have institutional selling, right? Institutional selling into this is possible. When will we know? I would say after earnings Thursday, Friday. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that the reason we've rotated back into tech is to position themselves after a long period of consolidation. We talked about this, long period of consolidation. If we hold either 26,100 or 25,900, if we hold it, we have every single player for 3 months trapped. We have an upside squeeze possible. All right, that is the most probable thing to happen. The second thing to happen will be a failure and a collapse, and they use this for institutional selling. All right, because if lots of people are bidding up and they can sell, they pair it off and sell it against it. This is still untested. It's possible. It's less likely, in my opinion, but it's possible. Cam, thank you for that. Very kind of you. How can I connect Tradeify to an Apex account? It will literally show you how to do it. Go onto the Apex website and just walk through it, or just go on YouTube. There'll be lots of ways of showing you how to do it. It's very, very easy. Linda, info@flowzonetrader.com. info@flowzonetrader.com. Any trade available, bro? You can tell who like comes in here and then leaves and then comes back in and leaves. The short that we're in is the only trade right now, right? You can argue that we're rejecting this. I do not like the add-on short right now. I will be honest. I think it's very, very risky as you're getting closer. Remember, the short was from 250s, right? Each of these grey boxes has been a cover point. We can use this as like, I'm not even going to do it as red. It's too risky, right? So you've hit TP1, TP2, TP3, as long as you weren't a dick for a tick. TP4 will be down here into the 120s. TP5 will be down here into the 90s. All right, that will be the trade. So the next TP will be here, and the next TP after that will be here. Matthew, like, your question still doesn't really make sense, mate. If you're going to use 10K of your own personal money, obviously nothing changes, right? You trade the same way. You trade technical setups the same way. You just lower your size because your risk is 10K. I would be using 1 to 2 micros if I had a 10K account, and I'd be trying to build out, let's say, at 20% a month. You need to go slow, right? You build 10K to 12K during that first month. Prove yourself you can do it. Then you can start slowly doing more. If you're an experienced trader and you want to put risk on, fucking sure, put risk on, right? But if you put a mini on and you are wrong by the point of 100 points, you've lost 20% of your account instantly. So that's it. Nothing really changes. Correct, yeah. Microsoft, Tesla, and Meta earnings today, and then you got Apple tomorrow. Correct. Oh my God, Alex is the best of the best. That's very kind of you. Thank you. What's the obsession with Heikenashal candles? See a lot of people in my other Discords using it. I don't know. Heikenashi are just momentum candles. That's all they are. They should make you able to see trend better, but they don't print the actual price. All right. So if we move to a Heikenashi, all right, trend becomes easier to see. All right. But they won't always give you the actual price. All right. The way they deliver price is slightly different. Right, so the wicks on them will be slightly different the way it's calculated, but it can become easier to see trend using Heikenashis. Maybe that's why people who trade trend with EMAs often like Heikenashis. They're not for me. I have tried using them before, many years ago. Okay, so grey box to grey box. You might get down into here, and hopefully you get that flush all the way down. I mean, it's a simple question. Yeah, just trade normally with 10K, just size down. There's the simple answer, which I've said many, many times. Nothing else changes. Thanks, Nick Bob. You're answering your same question. 10K was an example of like how I've learned everything I need to via safe prop. I still can't understand what you're saying here. Most you lose is 100K at a time. How do I bypass all the rules and stuff and just use my own? That's how you bypass the rules, right? You open up a brokerage account, you put 10K in. There you go. You bypass the rules. Now you play to your own rule book, but you better be good at managing risk. No zero DTEs for me, no. So many questions trying to catch up with here. Yes, I would always watch like any. So anytime you're looking at here you go, guys, you're going to get it. Anytime you're looking at anything volume based, guys, anything volume based, look at the main contract, look at the NQ, look at the ES. Here you go into your next target, and then the last one you can look for is all the way down into this blue box, which is where I would love to be a buyer from. All right, so this is a fantastic trade. So TP3 into here now. Remember, TP1 was 92, TP2 was 60, TP3 was 40, TP4 is into these like 20s here, and then all the way down here. Maybe even gap fill. You never know. You might get the gap fill, folks. So this is the high time frame pullback leg starting to play out. So some covering in front of these sort of 25s and 20s that we talked about. Yeah, so what was I saying? Anytime you're looking at volume, always look at the main contract. Why? Because institutions, they're not trading micros, right? We need to follow the whales. We need to see the institutional money. Oh, literally asking how to open a cash account. Well, you can just go with AMP or anyone that provides futures account. Just have a look and see what you can look at. TradeStation. Just check the fees, make sure the fees are good for the round trip. If that's what you're asking, yeah, sorry, maybe that's what you're asking. You just need a brokerage account, right? So the main future ones are like Iron Bean, AMP. TradeStation is very good for absolutely everything. Almost there, folks. Oh, this is fantastic. What a trade. I really hope some of you are in this. It would have been a gift if we could have had this all together. Beautiful, beautiful work. So TP's into here, and then really you're looking for previous day value area high, maybe even gap fill if we get really lucky. So we've hit most of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we get 5 and 6, after that, I would not be touching it. All right, I would really not be touching it. We get very, 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 very close now to where we want to come. This is ultimately where we want to come. If there's a full rotation, it'd be down here. But I think this blue box, it'd be coming towards the edge of where we're likely to come. Like we talked about, very thin to remind you all why. All right, once we let go of 92s, for anyone joining late on stream, once we let go of the 92s, where was that? Was it 92s? I'm sure it was 92s. Here, overnight. There we go. Once we let go of this 92s, we are very thin all the way down to this shelf. Okay, so this is why we are likely to fill in all of this down towards this shelf. And then we expect probably there's some buyers hanging out here to try and bid it back up at least to this point here. All right, if they fail to bid it back up, there's this rotation down here. I would imagine this happens no matter what. And then if they want to rotate, they will do that. If not, we'll build up liquidity to move higher, because that is how the market moves. So the higher time frame pullback leg is what's in effect right now. Alex, did you say you would never recommend a straight to funded account? Yeah, I don't think they're worth the money. I think the rules, Nick, for most of them is like 20%. What? Why? Why? You're paying so much money to skip a 1 day pass or a 2 day pass so that you are constricted far too much. You're better off sticking $600 or $700 in your own cash account and trading that. Honestly. You've helped me trading more in 3 weeks in the 3 weeks I've been following you than 3 years of following others. No, that's great to hear. I'm glad. That's why I turn up each day, because I like helping you guys. The emails and direct messages I get from people whose lives are massively changing and benefiting is the most rewarding thing for me. Right, shelf up here into 150. Let's just have a little look down here. I haven't had a look at the footprint for a while. I'm not convinced that auction's over yet, to be honest. Yeah, 150 is key. 150, 158. I'm not convinced this auction's done yet. Let's see. So grey box to grey box rotation again. Don't worry, though, because ICT said, volume profile doesn't matter. It matters so little that its price is reacting to it perfectly. Don't worry. A fucking delusional old man said it doesn't matter. We should listen to him instead. Shh, Alex, don't start. A good UK broker, or TradeStation does UK. I have to go through who I used to be with. Give me a second. I will have some of them down here. How do I get those up? Saxo's UK based. TradeStation I really liked. I used to trade with them even for small caps. Interactive, pretty good as well. Was good for small caps. I don't think IB was UK based. TradeStation is, though. TradeStation and Saxo are UK based. But you have to check if they do futures. I know TradeStation does. I can't remember if Saxo does. I used to trade my ETFs on it. I trade on PC. You can't. For me, once you get serious about trading, you got to leave a Mac alone. Trust me, it was very hard for me to do. I've spent my whole life on Mac. I will not stream FOMC, no. What volume indicators do I use? Well, profile, so anchored volume profile, and footprint, and volume and delta. Okay, grey box to grey box, still holding above. This is previous day's high, right? Yeah, still holding above previous day's highs. This is a big cover point here. I would love to see one more flush down into this. We have liquidity on the book all the way down into 126.80s. But we'll see. It's been a big trend down. You do not want to get caught short in the lows, right? Look at this, grind down. They will very, very likely come back for all of this later. The way that they've built this out, think about how many stops are in. Stops and stops and stops and stops and stops. And Alex would love something like this to get long and rip those faces. That'd be beautiful. We'll see. Doesn't have to do it today. Could do it tomorrow. Could do it next week. You've helped me too. Thank you. I knew volume was where it was at. No worries. Have I used IG? I actually have an account with IG. I've got hardly any money in it. It's the first thing I traded on when I was 19 or 20, playing spread bets. Like a long time ago. I haven't used it since. Tasty Trade. There you go. Tasty Trade. People saying Tasty Trade's good. I see that advertised a lot. Where was that guy from that set it up? He used to have another brokerage, didn't he? Sure he did. I execute on Ninja. FOMC, 2 o'clock will be the announcement. It's likely to be no change. 2:30 will be the Fed talk. What is the order flow window next to your Bookmap on screen? It's just my DOM. That's the level 2. Yeah, so price, delta, bid and ask, volume profile sell, volume profile buy, session volume profile. It's just my DOM. Here we go. Come on, baby. All the way down you come. Let's come. Think or swim. There you go. Thanks, Eric. See, look, you guys are smart. Deep charts. I have looked at them briefly. I don't need them, but I think they're very good. Here we go. All right, you've got to be covering. If you were short into this, you have to be covering into this move now. This is the overextension as we come back into the area where I would expect the market very, very likely to start finding bids around this area. So you better be 90% out of this trade if you were short. This is a big winner on stream again. You are now 120 or 130 points up. Yeah, 130 points up. What an absolute banger. Another 100-point trade again on stream for free. Is there a Bookmap type program for Think or Swim? I don't know. Maybe some others can answer you there. I don't know. What would I be looking at to go longs? So what we'd be looking at, the same kind of thing we had here, but the opposite. All right. So in this area here, you want a good auction. All right. So we want an auction where inside a candle, inside here, we see lots of sellers. All right. And once we see that, that will let us know that the auction's finished. Ideally, we fill this gap and then we start pivoting above. Maybe something like this, where we have trapped volume. We'd like a node down here to be developed of trapped sellers, and then we'll use their pain to go back upside, and then we're going to run all the sellers out. That's what I would like to see. If I'm going to be a buyer, that's what I want to see. It is possible we come down for this, but I would be taking 90% off into here. Did I take it? No. It's not because I didn't want to take it. I'm ready to take it. It's because Tradeify is down for me. It's not because any other reason other than I have no data, right? Tradeify is down currently. How the best way to set up the anchored volume profile, or how yours? Just 930. Just click on 930. So all you got to do, change it to 2 ticks a row, 2 ticks or 1,000 rows. It's just one day, guys, with Tradeify. It's okay. It happens. Guys, I don't know if many of you have traded like elsewhere, but I can tell you, like, I used to trade on fucking Trade Zero, right? And I'd have like 5,000 shares short on a Chinese stock getting squeezed, and that whole fucking thing would go down. I'd wake up like 20 grand in a hole, right? With real money. It happens. Sometimes it just happens, guys. It honestly, it happens. It's shitty. It happens. Very rare, but it happens. Okay, so you're seeing some covers in front of this now. Some covers starting to happen in front of this now. Right down into that level. There are some guys still bidding down into 85. But like I said, if you were short, I would be 90% out of the money now, just holding a very small position. The damage has been done. We've done the move. Remember, we talk about the low-hanging fruits. Like that, we've got a couple of bits left, but you definitely don't want to be forcing your way in down here. See if we can get NinjaTrader open now. You guys are saying it's working, so I'm going to see if we can get it open. Do I have an Apex account discount code? Yes, FCT. Everything's underneath, guys. So FCT for all your favorite prop firms other than Take Profit, you can use code FlowZone there for 40% off. There are some big sales on right now. So 90% off for Apex is a big sale on Funded Next for the Bolt. You can use FCT there as well. Massive, massive sales going on right now. So front running in front of this. Back to this profile. All right, so just keep remembering the higher time frame. Why did we think we would trade down to here today? We're coming back for back testing this. This is the area where we expect, you know, some build out to probably hold somewhere around here, down to maybe even the 70s. You can see this right here. We can thicken this up a bit. This right here is an area of interest for us to potentially buy back. We might go under it and reclaim, and the buyback could be on a reclaim. It's definitely an area of interest. Would I recommend yellowing Apex? I mean, I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's definitely a way that you could trade, but I don't think I'd recommend it. I still can't do anything. I'm even just trying to put a limit order out here just to see if it can come on a screen, and it just says error. So still no way I can trade with Tradeify, guys. You're starting to see a bit of relief here. Just be careful. Remember, you've hit most of your TPs. Like I said, you should be out 90% of this move. You don't want to be holding through everything. Thanks, DS. Looking forward to you joining every day. Right, so if you're looking for the long now, starting to see these imbalances push. That's not the best auction at the low yet, if I'm honest. But here is definitely where the sellers start to come in this candle. So this is kind of a key level to hold. I don't love that low of day auction yet, if I'm honest. But if they start to build in here and hold, there might be relief. But I don't love that, but it's not bad. So I'd be watching 21s to 10s, so 20s to 10s. Again, the low of day doesn't look too good for me yet. I can't trade it anyway because this fucking thing, but there we go. But if the 10s to 21 start to hold, you might see some relief. There's lots of stops that can be popped. There's probably likely to be relief up here to 75 to 90 at some point. Right? It just depends. Is it going to do it now like this, or does it need to come and take this out and then go for it? Like I said, 20s to 10s are important. I don't like the auction at low of day right now. There's not enough sellers caught down there yet. At least not from what I'm seeing on TradingView. Let me see if I can get any data here on Ninja to see a bit more. Does Ninja look a bit better? Ninja does look a little bit better, to be honest. The tick data there is a little bit better. So, yeah, 19s down to 10s. 20s to 10s. If that holds as a higher low, that's a good sign. But we came very, very close to this. It's kind of, might as well come and finish the auction, take it all out. And there's a buyer still at 85. There was a spoofer at 70. I'm looking lower to see if there's much. A little bit of 50 and 40s, but not a lot. So you'd want this to hold down towards 10s now. That doesn't mean you enter there. It's just like if buyers are going to step in, that's where they're going to need to step in. But again, the low of day auction is not the best looking right now, I would say. So an imbalance here down towards 10s. They are trying to bid in front of that. That's not a bad sign. So it's a good hold of 20s down to 10s. And it's possible here that they can get going for a squeeze. Counter trend squeeze is possible here, especially up into 37s. Over that, you're looking 56s, and then into this node up here. Right up here is where we get thicker 75s. Are there any reasons why you would do a second session, or do you always do open till 12? It's also just like I need to have a life, right? I've got to have a bit of a life. I do trade in the afternoons when there's setups, right? In Discord, for my community in Discord. Like when there's setups, we talk in there. But recently the afternoons have not been that good. Today might be different. All right, so let's see if they lift this now. So if you've got long in this hold here, you're looking for a lift through 37s. and then you're looking for 55s and then all the way up into 80s. All right, so if they hold here, it's very, very, very early, but it is possible to offer relief. You're into lunch as well. I still think they haven't finished down here, but we will see if they're going to take it. All right, they're going to be looking. You'd want 10s to hold. You'd be looking for this, this, and this for. This would be the start of the pro trend, but I would rather see it build out some liquidity for a little bit, but you might see some relief here into lunch. Which firms have sales? TPT is 40% off. You can use code FlowZone there and no activation fee. Apex has 90% off. You can use code FCT there. Funded Next has a big sale as well for the Bolt accounts. I'd be careful here, by the way, guys. You're into lunch as well. No, I manually mark all these. I manually mark everything here. I have Global Plus, but I don't use any added stuff. No iceberg, nothing like that. I just have it very, very simple. Take care, Mark. Take care, Mark. Here's the relief. All right, so you're looking for this into here. This is the next wick. So if you get acceptance over 40, you should lift into 60, same levels, and then 78. Where's my thing gone? Fucking hell. So here, so here's TP1, TP2, TP3, and if you get really lucky, you get all the way up into here. But I'd definitely be looking for this to trade 81s if you find acceptance, or 70s, 75s if you find acceptance. This can be a stop hunt up here and trade back down. So I would have break even already on this because I don't like the low of day auction. So it'd be TP1 into here. So TP1 into here, you've hit TP1, TP2, TP3. And I'd already be moving break even because I don't like the low of day auction. Why is 37 a level? It's from the Globex session. Tradeify's back up and running. I mean, for me, I can't even place a limit order. No, I can't do anything on any of my prop accounts. I just get error messages. It's probably a no trade for me, unfortunately. I'll give you a couple minutes, see if you get this. So let's see if you get acceptance through here. But even this, there's another 20 points. So you probably just missed this target low of day. I don't know. So you probably only got into here. So we got 128 points downside move. And then see if what we get as upside relief. I'd love it if it just manipulate a bit lower first, and hopefully they fix all the accounts, and I can scoop something up for the next session. Off the chart for me, TJ, I'd never execute on Dom. It's just a habit. It's just a habit. Guys, clean up the chat, please. Like, stop all of it. Don't want any negativity. Just stop. Just stop it. Completely stop it. Trend lines can be used as Confluence. Yes, Grey Kitty. They can be used as extra Confluence. But what I would say here, right? We went over this a little bit earlier. What you actually want here is like a build out of some volume. All right. If we can start poking this out and some good volume, and then a failed break below. All right. So let's say we come lower, we sweep, we clean out all these levels, institutions get long, we come back, and then we build above that volume and we leave all the shorts stuck. that is the better move, right? This is a very early long. Like I said, very early. I'm not convinced we finished the low of day. I don't like the auction at low of day. Remember, I kept saying that. It's very, very early, but there are some sellers stuck between 20 and 10s, which we went over right here, right? This right here, but it's not significant at low of day. I don't like that, all right? There, I want to see big red, and I'm not seeing that. But you can see 20s to 10s keeps being absorbed, whereas 20s to 10s, this level here, keeps being absorbed now. And there is a chance for relief back up, but it's not ideal. It is not like an A+ setup, but we are coming into a very, very good area where I said I would be willing to look for buys if we can trap shorts. This is the first time we're seeing this. I'd much rather it does this, builds out, and then does that for FOMC. That would be A+. But right now, it's still holding. Yeah, Tradeify fucked again. Yeah, there you go. Alex, were you able to stay green each month last year? How do you keep yourself from tilt? I think I had one red month last year. I have to go through which month it was. I had one technical issue on stream where I got absolutely fucking smoked on the trade copier, and I spent the next few weeks making it back. How do I keep myself on tilt? You would have seen me go on tilt on stream, but I don't like go mental when I go on tilt. You'll see me verbalize when I'm on tilt. So what am I can tell you my big tilt factors: too many break evens in a row, or like calling a really good trade and like not having it go for me. So I think it was last week there was like 3 days in a row where I got knocked out. I had 3 attempts at a short 2 days in a row for the rotation, and I got knocked out for like 20 points, 20 points, 20 points. And it would then on the fourth go, it would do like 100-point move. One day I left stream and it went for like a 200-point fade. So it happens, but what you'll see with me is I verbalize it and I note it, and I come back to the stream the next day and I'll be like, okay, my tilt's up, my anxiety's up, I'm pissed off that I haven't made this much money, so I need to be careful now. I need to be very, very careful with my sizing, and that's how I try and avoid it. You can't, people that like control your emotions, you can't. All you can do is control how you view life, how you view things. You can't just, there you go. So Trader Doc saying, yeah, I remember you kept warning yourself. For me, if I verbalize it and say it out loud, that for me is part of acceptance, right? It's part of acceptance. Trading, much like life, and I'm going through this a lot at the moment, a lot of life is about acceptance. You would have seen I did a post on YouTube. Can you accept a loss? Can you accept someone in your family's passed away? Can you accept a relationship's ended? Can you accept your lifestyle isn't what you thought it was? Can you accept that you've just taken a bad trade and you've lost on it? All right. That might sound like really simple. It's actually not, because acceptance is what allows you to move forward. If you cling on to the fact that those things have happened and you can't accept they've happened, it doesn't mean it's okay, right? I'm not trying to make an excuse for it. But if you cling on to the fact that I'm so pissed off that that's happened, or I'm so upset and I'm so devastated, you are clinging on to a tag, a form of tilt, an emotion. If you can just accept that it's happened, okay, that's happened to me. It's unfortunate. I'm not happy about it, but this is how I'm going to move forward. That is how you move from taking a loss to moving forward. So let's say I took a loss. Okay, I accept that's happened. I move forward. What's the next trade setup? Okay, I've taken another loss. It hasn't worked out for me. Okay, what's the next trade setup? Okay, I've taken another loss. Okay, 3 in a row. What's the next trade setup? The next trade setup for me at that point is to walk away, come back with a fresh face tomorrow, because I want to get punched in the face 5 times in a row, right? 3 times is enough to be punched in the face. So it's just finding acceptance and knowing your tolerance, right? If you're going to sit here and you can't find acceptance for it, what does not finding acceptance for something look like? Tell you what it looks like. It looks like this, all right? I'm buying this. Nah, fuck you, I'm buying more. No way, I'm buying more. Yes, it has to go up. No, fuck you, I'm buying more. No, fuck off, I'm buying more. Oh, I just blew up. and then the trade goes, and then you go, I fucking knew that was going to happen. That is what not finding acceptance looks like, right? Fighting against the markets. If I'm trading well, I'm never fighting a market. I'm patiently waiting for it to come into an area, or I'm waiting for someone to fight the market and I'm trading their pain point. Okay, so like so much of becoming proficient at trading is about knowing yourself. Mastering the market's one thing. Understanding how the market moves, why the market moves, waiting, like understanding the key levels. We can all mark out these key levels, right? We can all mark out these key levels. Do you have the patience to wait for it to get there, all right, to offer you the best buy? Think about yesterday. Those who joined me yesterday. We bought the dip yesterday. And we took the 40 trigger long, right? Where was yesterday? Here we go. All right, yesterday, look at this key level. Down here into my key level. Same key level, right? We didn't trade all this. All right, we waited. I said to you, I'm going to ignore this short and I'm going to wait for the long. Very much like today. I'm going to ignore this short, wait for the long into this key level. The trigger was 40 from what I remember. Shorts were stuck here under 40. This was the trigger. That's the patient. The patient guy wins. The disciplined trader who's willing to let it come to a level, let it show you it wants to move, and then take the trade. If you can start doing that, that is called knowing yourself, because marking levels is easy. Waiting for the levels, that's a whole new skill. It might sound really simple. Most traders cannot wait. They cannot wait. They have to click. They have to be in a trade, right? They cannot wait. Look, if you waited now and the hold of 20 and 10s that we talked about, look, we're there. We're almost there already. This is TP2. TP3 would be up here for acceptance. We're going to run out all these stops. All right? It's literally doing everything we've just talked about. Why? It's not because I'm a fucking genius, guys. I'm not a genius. It's just patience. It's patience. I can have accepted big losses. My wife is a different story. Acceptance does not mean I can't do something going forward. I accept the weather is what the weather is, and there's nothing I can do about it. However, if it's raining, I can grab an umbrella. That's exactly it, MJ. That is such a great way to put it. That is acceptance. It doesn't mean you have to like it. It just means you accept it's happened. I'm learning this. I'm still learning this. You don't have to like everything that happens to you in life, but you have to accept that it's happened. If it's in the past, it's already happened. You can bitch and moan and scream and shout all you want, but all you're doing is causing yourself pain. Or you can accept it's happened and try and find the most comforting or best solution for you to move forward. That's trading. You can accept it, right? If you can't accept a loss trading, you're going to really struggle. You're going to really struggle. How you know that was the level? What was your name? Alinister. It's just based on value. All right. Previous day value area high, previous day point of control, previous day high, previous day close. Lots of confluence down here that we are likely to come under this level and find a bid. And, you know, right under it, we did. And we trapped, like we said, 20 to 10s was the trap. And here we go. So this is the move. Priska, I'd wait for the pullback now. If you didn't take this dip in here, I'd wait for the pullback now because you want to be careful. Think about the amount of legs, right? We don't want to long at the top of this. 1, 2, we don't want to long up here. We don't want to long up here. So what you want, let it build out some volume now. Let it prove to you that it doesn't want to go lower, and then you can think about trading back upside. I still don't love this. I'll be honest, but we will see. This is just squeeze relief back to this shelf. It definitely happens, Trader Doc. It definitely happens. Do I think that the trade's going to go back upside? Yeah, I don't know if we wick this out. like, I'll be honest, I don't know if we wick this out still, but my bias is as long as we hold this area, I think we will trade back upside. It doesn't have to be today, but as long as we hold this area, I think this has been built this way for a reason. All right. Trap. Right. Comfortable, 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 comfortable. Drip, drip, drip. Ideally, we do something like this, 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 and then this. I think that's possible. If we lose this area, though, you can't look for that trade. If we lose this area, the rotation is back down to the 900s, right? It's very, very possible if we lose that area, but all the time we are holding down into sort of 26,050 is the max, but ideally we want to hold 26,100, 26,073, somewhere in here. As long as they do this, 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 if they build out this and reclaim it, then I think there's a great upside shot. If they're going to do it already, it is what it is. If that 20 to 10 hold was it, it's not the best auction at the low day, but if that was it, that was it. I'm going to have to get off soon. I have an appointment soon, so I will have to get off soon. But I'm just trying to help. Alex, can you go over ES? Yes, sorry, my friend. Sorry. You did put that a while ago. Same kind of story. All right, you're watching PDC. This is a better look here. This is actually a better build out. All right. Underneath higher time frame algo, there's your higher time frame algo. Dip underneath it, reclaim. If they start holding this and reclaiming, right, this is your big area, PDC to IB. If they're able to reclaim this, this has got a shot. It has got a shot back into it. It's the same kind of story, right? Let's zoom out on an hourly. Sunday open. It's a nice flag pullback into the 30s. Right, and the last chance would be into 60s. So I think dip buys, if they're going to hold it, will be either where we are now or down into these 60s. All right, so either they're going to do this or they do this move here later in the week. That's what I would be looking for. Failing to hold 60s, or if you come under this, I'd be very concerned, especially under here. But same kind of story on ES, exactly the same kind of story. You can see they're trying to get that relief now. So PDC here, acceptance through PDC gets you to IB, acceptance through IB gets you to VWAP, acceptance through VWAP gets you to New York Open, and you've got all these stops to run out. Remember, this is just a high time frame pullback, guys. I cannot explain this enough, right? It's a higher time frame pullback. Failing to break lower, build liquidity. Breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback. Somewhere in one of these levels, we expect a bid. Here or here, right? Same story. This is the pullback leg, higher time frame to build liquidity to go higher. If they want to do a deep test, they will. This is why we have to wait and see. At the moment, we are reacting, right? We are reacting. Should I, who live in Europe when Mark PD value area zones use based on time zone instead of Europe? Depends what session you're trading, Tony. So always use the New York session. You can use the whole session if you want to look at. If you're trading Europe, you can use the Asia. You can use the developing session since that 6 o'clock open, and you can use the previous days. You can also do one on that European session. Global Plus for Bookmap. I'm in Los Angeles. Gold. Right, I'm gonna have to get out of here in a minute, folks. Yeah, gold still looks good. Like we talked about, pullbacks are going to be absorbed. Look at that. Jesus Christ almighty. All right, so that liquidity day, all we did, do you remember I said gold, none of these are a short. Everyone's talking about, oh, it's a big short. No, it's just like a pullback in. There is nothing in here, right, until we go backside. At the moment, this is straight move upside. We can go to a 5. Same kind of story. Down to IB low, into a double top high. I don't know how gold trades technically. like what it likes to do. But technically, you're bullish all the time you're holding above this. This is the same thing, right? Built liquidity for a couple of sessions, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback, breakout. It's still bullish until it proves otherwise. You're going to have to lose all of this. Same on silver, I would imagine. No, here. Pullback absorbed. Yeah, so the same thing. Remember we said there's no backside. Everyone's talking about this big short on silver, okay? Yes, we're overextended, but where would the backside be? Well, where are the pivots? There's your breakout. You could argue there's a little one in there. Until you get under all this and you leave buyers stuck up here, it's always the same thing. Until there are buyers stuck up here, there is no backside move. Yes, we're overextended. Yes, we're probably past 2 standard deviations, but look how we absorbed it. Hi. How many shorts? What you need to ask yourself now is how many people position themselves swing short in here saying this thing has to die. Well, pain point number 1 is there. Pain point number 2 is there. And I'm telling you what, if it gets past pain point number 2, they're fucked. That's way of me putting it. They are absolutely fooked. All right, if it gets past pain point number 2. I just want to have a look at that on a daily chart for a second. Bring you down so you can see it. See where we are based on standard deviations on these. I mean, look. Everything we talk about. What is a healthy trend? Top bowl 5-day on the breakout. This is a healthy trend. Top bowl 5-day. Top bowl 5-day. Top bowl 5-day. Top bowl overextension through big flush. Oh, guess what? 5-day. Top bowl. Top bowl. All right. This is fine right now. It might be that it does a blow off top and a rotation, but this is still bullish. It can come all the way down here and still be bullish. If I was swing long, there's zero reason to sell right now. Zero macro reason. Zero reason. Okay, got stuck at that TP2. And like I said, this auction under here, I would be very, very careful. All right, because this under here, there's your last trade. I'd be out of this now. Let this build out volume now. I don't like this lower day auction. I've said it a million times. I don't think there's enough shorts stuck down in here. The shorts got stuck 20 to 10s. You can still watch that level 20 to 10s. But if they don't hold that, there's highly probable that you get a new lower day. Right. Last few questions, and then I've got to get out of here, folks, and get on with my day. Yeah, SP, I agree. I agree on NQ as well. I don't like the auction, lower day auction. I said it's probably squeeze relief. I would much rather it comes and digs into all of this and traps more shorts. Netflix. It's holding up all right. We've done one undercut of this. I'm in a very small position here, but it's possible we fade a little bit more. I'm watching this pivot here on Netflix, right? This is the big one. 16s. Yeah, there's a little undercut in here, which is why I positioned long, just for a starter. Into here would be great. Anything in there, I'll start scooping up, and then we'll be looking for that long term. But we're like, it depends what you're looking for. I'm looking for an all-time hold. Like, I'm not looking for or a trade when I'm looking in this. We're already down, what, like 40%? Yeah, 40% off the highs. And I'm very, very small size. you know, we could do with a big old flush, like, and a trap and a reclaim, right? That would be really nice if we can do it. I don't know if we can do it, but certainly if we come into there and we trap shorts, I will be swing long, starting to add with more size. I'm not worried long term, not in the slightest. 40 on 40. What's the most reliable strategy or Confluence that you work with? I would just say volume and like flow zones, right? Momentum and volume. So like volume, momentum clouds, right? Don't fight them. Simple as that. This anchored volume profile on the right hand side, anchored volume profile. Okay, folks, time for me to get out of here. Thanks for joining today. Good luck with FOMC if you're going to trade it. Hopefully, Tradeify's back up and running properly for them. Just be smart, be careful. All right, be smart and be careful. Again, I don't think we finished the auction. We're still holding the 20s to the 10s. That's still the same level, but I don't think we finished the auction at the low. It's the only thing I would say. I would be looking, like I've talked about numerous times, I'd be looking to see if we trap under here, anywhere in here, maybe even that, but ideally not, and then reclaim and build out volume, which we can use to reclaim, and that will be what I would be looking for in an ideal environment. All right, at the moment still holding the 10s and 20s, but that's what I'd be looking for this afternoon in an ideal environment. FOMC likely to be volatile. Remember, you've got earnings afterwards. Don't need to force it. It's just one trading day, all right? There's a new trading day tomorrow, and we get Apple at the end of the day, and we get Friday close, and then next week we will know if we're sustaining bids outside of Breakout or not. Thanks for joining on the stream. As always, if you're new to this stream, go and check out everything on my YouTube. Tons of free education on there. Go there first, all right? If you like that, you can head over to my website, flowzonetrader.com. There are a few courses there you can look at if you're interested and you like how I trade. If you want to support the stream, you can become a member, $5 a month, or you can use my code FZT down below for all your best prop firms. I will see you tomorrow morning. Those in Discord, I'll try and pop in and give you some advice coming into FOMC. Peace and love, use hard stops, all that good stuff. Take care.